Chapter 47. What kind of tea is this? Camellia. Wang Yao smiled. He was telling the truth. The tea was ordinary, but the water was extraordinary. When the two were mixed together, it was like wonton made with bejeweled nectar. It would be strange if it was not delicious. Camellia. I have never tasted such good tea. Even the wild tea is not as good as this. You read scriptures? The middle-aged man saw the basic scriptures on the table. The Nanhua Sutra, the Huangting Sutra, and the Tao Te Ching. Very few people would be able to read them now, not to mention a young man like him. I read them when I have nothing to do, Wang Yao said calmly. Guosairu and the middle-aged man sat for a while and then left. This young man is extraordinary. Guosairu sighed after going down the hill. He is more than extraordinary. The middle-aged man said, but that illusory formation is worthy of the word magical, and that pot of tea is even more extraordinary. It is indeed delicious. Miss, didn't you notice that you're much less tired? He Qixing reminded her. It seems to be true. After being reminded, Guosairu realized that her body was indeed much more relaxed than before. What's going on? Is it because of those cups of tea? Most likely. What kind of tea can have such an effect? Guosairu was surprised. As far as I know, there is no tea. But my knowledge is limited. Even a magic array appeared. The pot of tea was unexpected, but reasonable. The old senior officer's illness may be cured, the middle-aged man said. I hope so. Guosairu looked back. The cottage was still standing quietly on the hill. Not to mention other things, it was already extraordinary to be able to endure the loneliness in the mountain. After the two left, Wang Yao tidied up and took out natural classics. These days, he had learned a lot from other basic scriptures. Even if he was busy every day, he must take some time to read it calmly. Every time he read it, the breath in his abdomen seemed to sense it and flowed like water. The next day, Guosairu and the middle-aged man came to Nanshan Hill with photocopied medical records. Leave this with me for now. Come back in 3 days. Wang Yao took the information and skimmed through it. Can you hurry up? My grandfather's health is getting worse. Guosairu said anxiously. I'll do it as soon as possible, Wang Yao said after thinking for a moment. The two men didn't stay for too long. They just told him that they would be in Lianshan County during this period of time. If he needed anything, he could call them immediately. After they left, Wang Yao immediately began to look through the medical records sent by Guosairu. Although it was a medical record, Wang Yao didn't see the patient's name from beginning to end. Obviously, it had been specially processed. Even though it was his first time studying a case, and he didn't have any special experience, Wang Yao could tell that the old man was seriously ill. His kidneys were failing, his heart was failing, and there were also problems with his respiratory system. There seemed to be no part of his body that was in good condition. It was as if it was a miracle that he was still alive. There is no way. After reading it carefully 3 times, Wang Yao realized that with his current ability, there was no way to treat the patient. System, what should I do? Wang Yao couldn't think of a good plan, so he asked the system. The system didn't respond. Sure enough, Wang Yao was quite disappointed. He had to look up some information in hopes of finding some clues. Just as the sky was getting dark, suddenly an idea flashed through his mind. Consolidate the corporeity. These words suddenly appeared in his mind. Right, since my body is failing, can I use the regather soup? Regather soup strengthens the muscles and bones, consolidates the corporeity. For this question, Wang Yao asked the system again. Yes. The system's simple answer made him very happy. Not only did he have a way to treat Guosairu's grandfather's illness, but more importantly, he further understood some of the characteristics of the system. For example, if you asked a question directly, the system most likely wouldn't answer. However, if you gave an answer and only asked a yes or no, the system would most likely answer. Regather soup could be used, so the next step was to decoct it. Ginseng, wolfberry, sealwort, gorgon, glossy ganoderma. These Chinese medicinal materials were easy to buy. However, the last 2 herbs, shanjing and guiyuan, were both licorice roots. They couldn't be obtained by ordinary means. Wait. Wang Yao called up the system panel. and then went to the location of the pharmacy. This pharmacy was similar to a shop. There were many things in it, such as Chinese medicinal materials, seeds of herbs, and even some medicines that could be exchanged, but it required reward points. Among them, Wang Yao found Shanjing and Guiyuan, which were used to decoct the regather soup. However, Shanjing cost 20 reward points, and Guiyuan cost 35 reward points. The two together cost 55 reward points. He now had less than 10 reward points. There were Shanjing and Guiyuan seeds, and they were relatively cheap. Each pack of 10 seeds only cost 10 reward points. However, there was no finished regather soup. It seems that this is the most suitable way for now. He had already thought of a way, which was to buy the seeds of the 2 licorice roots from the system and plant them. Then, he could make regather soup. In this way, the reward points needed would be reduced by more than half, but he couldn't guarantee the time. The next step is to get reward points. Whether it was herbs or seeds, they all required reward points. The first thing Wang Yao needed to do now was to find a way to get reward points. What should I do? Wait. Since the pharmacy can sell things, it should be able to accept things, right? Let's give it a try. He first took some Chinese medicinal materials from the house, but the system didn't prompt him. What's going on? Is it because it has no value? After thinking about it, he took out the antidote grass from his bag and put in the pawn shop's trading grid. This time, there was a response. There was a prompt of 5, which meant that this antidote grass could be exchanged for 5 reward points. So the problem is solved. Wang Yao used 3 antidote grasses and exchanged them for 15 reward points. Then he bought 2 packs of seeds, Shanjing and Guiyuan. In fact, if he sold all the antidote grasses, he could also exchange them for Shanjing and Guiyuan, which were used to decoct the regather soup. However, he couldn't guarantee that he could succeed in one try. Therefore, he chose a safer way. Next, it's planting. Without waiting for the next day, he chose a piece of land and planted the Shanjing and Guiyuan seeds. Then he watered them with the remaining ancient spring water. I hope they can grow quickly. Chapter 48. After he was done, he took out the catalog of magic herbs and looked at the growth characteristics of the 2 herbs. Both herbs needed a place with dense spiritual qi to grow smoothly. He didn't have a good way to do that, so he could only supplement it with ancient spring water. The seeds he planted sprouted on the 3rd day. 3 days later, Guisairu and the middle-aged man named He Qixing went up the hill again. You guys are in a hurry. At this time, Wang Yao had just come down from the top of the mountain. Just now, when he was still practicing on a mountain, he heard the sound of dogs barking from afar. Then, he saw 2 people going up the mountain. He had to end his practice early and come down from the mountain. How is it? Do you have a way? Guisairu asked anxiously. Not in a short time, but if you can wait for a month, maybe there will be a way, Wang Yao said. A month? Guisairu frowned. She was very clear about her grandfather's condition. Every day was very dangerous. If it weren't for the several masters' superb medical skills and his special identity that allowed him to use some special herbs regardless of consumption, she was afraid that he wouldn't even last a day. Can you hurry up? What do you need me to do? I'll try my best to do it as long as I can. Guisairu said. It was not easy to find a life-saving straw and see a glimmer of hope. She couldn't give up. I'm sorry. Wang Yao shook his head. In fact, he couldn't guarantee that he could successfully decoct the regather soup in a month. A month, okay. He Qixing said after thinking for a while. Uncle He, Miss, with their help, we should be able to survive a month, He Qixing said. That's good. Also, could you please prepare some herbs for me? Wang Yao made a list of the herbs needed to make the regather soup and handed it to Guisairu. Guisairu took it and gave it to He Qixing without even looking at it. How many portions do you need? He Qixing asked. 3 portions. It's best if they're wild. Wang Yao explained. Other than Shanjing and Guiyuan, the materials on the list were all other materials. It was not that he could not prepare them, but the quality of the materials provided by Lianshan County was definitely worse. All right, I'll send it to you within 3 days. Yes. The 2 of them did not stay for too long and hurried down the mountain. What does he want this medicinal ingredient for? Guisairu asked. Prepare the medicine. He Qixing said. From the moment he received the list of herbs, he had been thinking about the names of the herbs that could be decocted. There were many kinds of herbs, but none of them could cure the old commander's illness. After all, it was a chronic disease that was incurable. Then I'll have to trouble Uncle He with the herbs on this list. No problem. The two of them hurriedly got busy. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao found his daily life. Every day, apart from taking care of the herbal field, he cultivated. In just 2 days, He Qixing had brought the medicinal herbs that he needed. These are the herbs you need. Thank you. Wang Yao did not expect him to be so efficient. What kind of medicine are you going to use them to make? He Qixing asked curiously. Regather soup. Wang Yao did not hide it. He was going to make this kind of medicine. Regather soup? What does it do? He Qixing was surprised because the name sounded too common. He knew there were many kinds of regather soup, and the preparation methods were different. It strengthens the muscles and bones and consolidates the corporeity, Wang Yao calmly said. That's it. He Qixing was surprised. Yes, Wang Yao replied. It was simple. A few words sounded very common, but the words nourish the heart and common herbs were only 4 words. It cured the chronic disease of his aunt and Su Jiahui. Moreover, there was only one licorice root in the list, the moonlight herb. There were 2 licorice roots in the list. It was not as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. Then I won't disturb you. I'll leave first. Take care. Wang Yao watched He Qixing go down the hill. Regather soup? He Qixing was still thinking about this medicine when he went down the hill. Just as he was going down the hill, a car entered the mountain village. It looked very ordinary. It was an ordinary Volkswagen. It looked like a large Passata. He Qixing, who had just gone down the hill and entered the village, was surprised when he saw the car. The license plate number looked familiar. A middle-aged man got out of the car. He was of medium height, in his 40s, and looked well-maintained. He was carrying a delicate box in his hand. This man was Tian Yuan Tu, who had been here several times. Qi Sheng? Yuan Tu, why are you here? These 2 people actually knew each other. They could be considered acquaintances. I'm looking for someone, Tian Yuan said. Wang Yao. He Qixing turned around and looked at the hill behind him. Yes, Tian Yuan didn't hide it. After all, there was only Wang Yao on Nanshan Hill. Are you looking for him too? Yes, He Qixing replied. We haven't seen each other for a long time. If you don't have anything to do you want to have a chat later? Okay, I'll wait for your call. The 2 chatted for a while and then left. One went up the hill and the other went down. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao, who was reading natural classics, heard the dog barking again. He knew someone had come. After a while, Tian Yuantu walked into the herbal field with a delicate gift box. Am I disturbing you? No. Please sit down, Wang Yao said with a smile. I left a few days ago. I went to Qimen and brought back some tea. Would you like to try it? While saying this, he put the gift specially prepared for Wang Yao on the table. Well, thank you. Wang Yao hesitated for a while and accepted it. In fact, he didn't know much about tea, but he had heard of the reputation of Qimen black tea. It seemed to be the queen of tea. Judging by its appearance, it must be extraordinary. Not at all. Compare with your tea. It's still not good. Wang Yao just smiled after hearing that. Is the patient's condition better? A lot better. Thank you. After sending the 2nd dose of medicine, Tian Yuantu also went to see the patient lying in a hospital bed. The patient was indeed better than before. He could even speak a few words. This showed that Wang Yao was miraculous. However, when they asked Tian Yuantu to bring the medicine again, he didn't immediately answer. He had seen Wang Yao's miraculous ability and knew the means of those people. He was afraid of causing trouble for Wang Yao, so he declined. Some people were thousands of miles away and couldn't be easily met. Some people were close at hand and easy to meet. Some people were extraordinary. He naturally knew which one was more important. Tian Yuantu didn't stay on the hill for too long. After chatting with Wang Yao for a while, he left. Chapter 49. His purpose for coming here was very simple, which was to invest in his relationship. He felt that Wang Yao was a person with special abilities. Such a person was worth making friends with deliberately. Businessmen valued profits. They were very good at how to deal with interpersonal relationships. Tian Yuan was even better. Looking at the Cheeman black tea on the table, Wang Yao shook his head with a smile. He could roughly guess the purpose of Tian Yuan's visit. It was nothing more than wanting to make friends with him. He did not reject such a person's idea. After all, he was just a slightly special young man. He was not a mountain hermit who lived in seclusion. After Tian Yuan went down the hill, he drove out of the mountain village. He then called He Qixing. The two of them agreed on a time and place. Somewhere in Lianshan County, in a tea house. He Qixing and Tian Yuan chose a private room and ordered a pot of tea. "I didn't expect to meet you here," Tian Yuan said with a smile. "Yes, the last time we met was a few months ago, right?" He Qixing took a sip of tea. The two of them had known each other for a long time. They were friends. They had not stopped contacting each other over the years. "About half a year ago," Tian Yuan said after thinking for a moment. "How have you been recently? Are you still so busy?" "Fortunately, I hired a few people. I'm not so busy anymore." "How's your wife's illness?" He Qixing also knew about Su Jiahui's illness. He had treated her before. However, the illness was really a bit troublesome. In his situation at that time, he was willing but not capable. He could barely give it a try, but the effect was not very good. "She's recovered." He Qixing was shocked. He had treated Su Jiahui's illness before, so he naturally knew how strange her illness was. Although it wasn't as aggressive as some other illnesses, which would worsen the patient's physical condition in a very short period of time, it was a chronic illness. It slowly tormented the patient, like a blunt knife cutting the flesh. It made the patient more painful, and there was no clear treatment method. He also knew a little about Tian Yuan's connections and ability. He had basically gone to several major hospitals and visited many famous doctors, but there wasn't much improvement. But today, he heard that she was cured. How could he not be surprised? "Then I have to congratulate you. Which expert did you invite?" "I'm sorry," Tian Yuan said with a smile. "I promised him that I wouldn't tell anyone." "Oh, it's fine." He Qixing didn't mind. "Wait, could it be?" Suddenly, his hand holding the Yixing clay teapot paused slightly. It seemed that he was thinking about something. He was a little absent-minded. The tea in the teacup in front of Tian Yuan overflowed. "It's full," Tian Yuan reminded softly. "Oh, sorry. What are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking about a person, a very interesting person." He Qixing put down the teapot and said, "Is that so? By the way, aren't you in Qi province? Why did you suddenly come here?" "I came to ask for help." "Ask for help? With your status, do you still need to come to this small county to ask for help?" "Wang Yao." Tian Yuan suddenly guessed something. "It's him. It seems that you are very familiar with him." The two of them chatted for a while. Finally, they talked about the young man. "I'm not familiar with him. I've only seen him a few times," Tian Yuan said. "Did he cure sister-in-law's illness?" He Qixing did not beat around the bush and asked directly. "Yes, you also came to ask for his help, right?" Tian Yuan did not hide it anymore. He happily admitted it and asked in return. "Ha." The two of them looked at each other for a moment and then laughed at the same time. The wariness and estrangement that they had dissipated with the laughter. "How did he treat the illness?" 2 doses of medicine. The medicine is enough to cure the illness." Tian Yuan took a sip of tea and said, "Medicine? What medicine?" He Qixing hurriedly asked. "Enchantment. It nourishes the heart and calms the nerves," Tian Yuan replied. This was what he heard from Wang Yao. Nourishes the heart and calms the nerves. It sounds so simple. He Qixing repeated these 4 words. It sounds simple, but the effect is really extraordinary. It can even be called magical. "Why are you looking for him?" "I'm also looking for medicine." "For whom?" He Qixing did not answer. Tian Yuan's eyes were startled. Immediately, his eyes lit up as he thought of something. "Is it very serious?" "Very serious," He Qixing said after a moment of silence. In fact, he had said a lot that day. Tian Yuan had also said a lot. They were friends, but not to the extent that they would talk about anything. They just wanted to know something from each other, and correspondingly, they had to tell each other something. What did Wang Yao say? 1 dose of medicine for a month. "Let's wait then," Tian Yuan said. The two of them sat in the tea house for more than an hour before leaving. I didn't expect the Guo family to find him. Tian Yuan-tu sighed softly. If he can really succeed, it will be really amazing. On Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao still lived according to his own routine. That morning, he told his family and asked his mother to go up the hill to help look after the herbal field. He then went to the city. Wang Mingbao's shop opened today. In fact, it had already been renovated. He had already started to buy some things. He just asked someone to pick a good day. What should I buy? Wang Yao rode his motorcycle into the city early. In addition to giving a red packet, he felt that he had to buy something else to express his gratitude. After all, Wang Yao was his childhood friend. After looking around for a long time, he could not think of anything suitable, mainly because he had never experienced this kind of thing. In the end, he had to go with the flow. He chose 2 large flower baskets, told the shop owner the location, paid, and went directly to Wang Mingbao's shop. Congratulations, congratulations. I wish you a source of wealth. Wang Yao handed him a red packet. Thank you, Brother Yao. You can keep this. We are brothers, Wang Mingbao said. Take it. Wang Yao directly put the red packet in his hand. This amount of money was not necessarily in Wang Mingbao's eyes, but it represented his appreciation. Is there anything I can help you with? He looked at the people beside him who were busy preparing for the opening. No, just leave it to these people. You can go inside and have some tea. How can I do that? Let me help too. Just as Wang Yao was helping, the 2 flower baskets he asked for were delivered. Then, many people came to celebrate. Some of these people were Wang Mingbao's friends, and many people came to support him because of his father. Anyway, there were more people. In fact, when it came to opening a business, it was important to pay attention to liveliness. More people were also a good sign. It symbolized that there would be more customers in the future and more money would come in. When the auspicious time arrived in the morning, firecrackers were set off. It was very lively. Chapter 50. After they were done, the people attending the opening ceremony were invited by Wang Mingbao to a nearby hotel, where he had already booked several private rooms. Opening ceremonies were usually like this. Once the auspicious time arrived, there would be a celebration. After that, the relatives and friends who came to celebrate would gather together to eat and drink. After that, they would do their own things. There were a few people at Wang Yao's table that he knew. They were all from the same village, but they were not very familiar with each other. Wang Zixiao was the only one who was close to him. The 2 of them sat together and chatted. The other villagers were eating melon seeds, smoking, and waiting for the dishes to be served. After a while, the dishes were served. They poured wine, clinked glasses, and drank heartily. The room was filled with the smell of alcohol and smoke. Wang Yao was not quite used to it. He had forgotten when was the last time he had experienced such an occasion. Don't you drink, Yao? Wang Zixiao asked. I don't drink. Then I don't drink either. Wang Zixiao put down the bottle of wine. In fact, he liked to drink on weekdays. Do you still have to work in the afternoon? No, I asked for a day off. Then drink some. Do you drive? Wang Yao asked with a smile. No, I don't drink. The other people at the table were not polite. They raised their glasses and drank. After a while, 2 bottles of wine were emptied. They were all red. After about 20 minutes, Wang Mingbao came over to propose a toast and said some polite words. After years of experience in business, he was eloquent. He was very good at such things. The strange people at the table laughed. They all looked very happy. Why don't you drink? Wang Mingbao sat down next to Wang Yao and asked. No, Wang Yao said. Then eat more. Wang Mingbao did not persuade him to drink. Well, you go do your work. The meal lasted more than 40 minutes. After coming out of the restaurant, Wang Yao and Wang Zixiao found Wang Mingbao and asked him. After confirming that there was nothing else they needed help with, they rode their motorcycles back to the village. After returning to the village, Wang Yao went to Wang Zixiao's house for a while. Then he went back home and went straight to Nanshan Hill. He resumed his peaceful life, tending to the medicinal field, cultivating and chanting sutras. He was somewhat similar to the monks in the ancient temple deep in the mountains. In 3 days, the Shanjing and Guyuan that he planted had started to grow. For these 2 special spiritual herbs, he specially watered them with ancient spring water with high concentration to ensure that they could get enough nutrients. Can we harvest these herbs now? After watering these spiritual herbs, he looked at the large number of herbs, such as Radix gentiani and Radix parvifolia, which were growing crazily. With the ancient spring water watering, their growth ignored the changes of seasons. Even in autumn and winter, they still grew crazily, which seemed to go against the laws of nature. Ding! Task series, Herb Garden. Suddenly, he heard the prompt of the system when he was thinking. Task 1. Successfully plant 10 kinds of herbs within 7 days. The reward will be random. The punishment for failure is that you cannot continue the task. 10 kind of herbs? Does it have to be licorice roots? Wang Yao asked. No. The system's answer was still straightforward. That's good. If it's 10 kinds of licorice roots, this task is more difficult. If it's just 10 kinds of common herbs, it's easier. But in this way, he had to go to the city. In the evening, when Wang Yao went down the hill to go home, he happened to see his parents coming home. His father was riding a motorbike with his mother. It was a bit cold. He saw his mother's face was red because of the cold. I need to buy a car. During dinner, Wang Yao told his parents about the idea of buying a car. Yes, you need to buy a car. Now many people in the village have bought a car. A few days ago, Qing Bao's wife, who lives in the west of the village, told me that her family bought a car. It's more than 100,000 yuan, Zhang Xiaoying said. In fact, the villagers cared a lot about their reputation. Wang Yao knew this. Although his parents didn't say it, they also hoped that their son could be outstanding. When his sister, Wang Ying, was admitted to the Bureau of Agriculture, his mother told a lot of people about it. What kind of car do you want to buy? Wang Yao asked his parents. In fact, he spent most of his time on the hill and did not have many opportunities to drive. He only went to the city occasionally. He planned to buy a car for his parents to go out. Up to you. Don't be too expensive. They all say that Volkswagen cars are strong and resistant to damage, Zhang Xiaoying said. I'll go to the city tomorrow. Mom, take care of the herbal field. Got it. The next day, as soon as the sun rose, Zhang Xiaoying went to the hill. Wang Yao also got up early. After practicing on the top of the hill, he came down from the hill and happened to meet his mother. What are you doing on the hill? Zhang Xiaoying asked curiously. Exercising, Wang Yao said with a smile. Oh, hurry up. It's cold. Wear more clothes. Okay. Wang Yao rode out of the village on his motorcycle. It was the end of November. The weather was cold. The cold wind could easily blow through clothes. However, Wang Yao's qi was flowing freely in his stomach. His body was warm, so he did not feel cold. It did not take long for him to enter the county. He first bought some herbal seeds. The old man who bought the seeds seemed to remember him. Young man, why did you buy so many seeds? This time, Wang Yao almost bought all the seeds that could be found in the shop. Try all kinds. See which ones are suitable, Wang Yao replied with a smile. You don't need to try. I have a list here. They're all the herbs that are often bought by the big herbal growers in the county. They should be right. Wait a moment. I'll give you a list. The old man was very kind and gave Wang Yao a list. The seeds on the list should be suitable for planting in the soil of Lianshan County. Thank you. Although he had the ancient spring water and could grow almost all kinds of herbs, he still wanted to thank the kind-hearted man. After buying the seeds, he rode the motorcycle to a nearby car shop. The car shops in Lianshan County were all around the street. He chose a shop and went in. Immediately, a beautiful girl came to greet him with a smile. Hello, sir. Do you want to buy a car? I'll take a look. What kind of car do you want to buy? What brand do you like? The girl asked with a smile. Ah, a Volkswagen, Wang Yao said after hesitating for a while. He entered the exhibition hall and found that there were all kinds of cars. They did not only sell one type of car and one brand. This kind of car sales company was different from those exclusive 4S stores. They dealt with all kinds of cars. They also picked up cars from 4S stores. They mainly made money from insurance and after-sales service. Chapter 51. Wang Yao walked around and didn't see a car he liked. He preferred SUVs, such as Land Rover. Are there any SUVs? Yes, please follow me. The pretty salesgirl took him to a nearby exhibition hall, where he saw several different types of SUVs. Well, this one is not bad. Wang Yao saw a black car. This is a Volkswagen Tiguan. It's selling very well. The price was increased a few days ago, the salesgirl said with a smile. How much is it? Wang Yao walked around the car, opened the door, and looked inside. This is the standard version. It's priced at 199,800 yuan. The full price is about 217,100 yuan. It's not very expensive. It's just the price of a dose of medicine. Wang Yao thought. Thank you. I'll take a look. Wang Yao left with a smile. He walked around several shops nearby and found that the types of cars were similar and the prices were similar. However, most of them were economical cars. Middle to high-end cars were rare. The more well-known brands such as Audi, Mercedes-Benz, and BMW were basically not available. He asked around and found out that buyers with the financial resources would generally choose to buy cars in Hike or Wei City. There were more models and more discounts. The car shops in Lianshan County wouldn't directly display the cars. First, it would squeeze the funds. Second, there were fewer buyers. If there were customers who wanted to buy, they had the corresponding channels to meet the customer's requirements. Should I buy a Tiguan directly? After walking around, Wang Yao felt that only that car could barely satisfy him. Just as he was about to choose a shop to buy a car, the phone in his pocket rang. It was Wang Mingbao. Where are you? County. County? You're in the city. Where are you? Wang Yao told him his location. You want to buy a car? Wang Chunbao asked. Yes, I have this idea. Don't buy it yet. I'll be there soon. Less than 20 minutes after hanging up the phone, Wang Chunbao drove to Wang Yao's place. You want to buy a car? Yeah. I'm here to take a look. Get in the car. I'll introduce you to a place, Wang Mingbao said. All right. Wang Mingbao drove Wang Yao to a nearby car dealership. There, he met one of Wang Mingbao's buddies, Zhao Yonggang, who specialized in selling cars, new cars, used cars, and various brands. Tiguan, that car is not bad, and the preservation rate is high, Zhao Yonggang said after listening to Wang Yao's idea. Do you have any other cars? Audi, BMW, etc. Wang Yao thought about it carefully. He still had some money on hand, so he might as well buy a better one. It would be comfortable to look at, and it would also give him face. Actually, he didn't really care. He was mainly considering his parents' thoughts. What kind of car do you want to buy? Zhao Yonggang was slightly stunned. Yes, I want to take a look. No problem. Let's go to Hike, Zhao Yonggang said. There were such cars in Lianshan County, but the number was too small and the models were not complete. Because of such a sentence, the three of them looked at the car again and again. Lianshan County was only a little more than an hour away from Hike. When they arrived there, it was just noon. They found a random place to eat and then went to the place where the car dealerships were concentrated. There were more types of cars there. Well, this one is not bad. This one is not bad either. Wang Yao looked and nodded as he looked. The car dealerships in the vicinity were all concentrated in one place, such as BMW X5, Mercedes-Benz GLE, Land Rover Range Rover, Audi Q7, and so on. It was indeed much better than the Tiguan. This was Wang Yao's first impression. Of course, the price was just right. For a moment, he didn't know which one to choose. I say, what kind of price does your buddy want to buy? If he wants to buy a car worth 200,000 or 300,000 yuan, he won't look at these brands, Zhao Yonggang whispered to Wang Mingbao. How do I know? If he wants to look, he can look. Anyway, it's free. I'll look at it on the way. Wang Mingbao looked with a smile. They looked, but most of the car dealerships were not very enthusiastic about them. Maybe it was because the three of them didn't look like car buyers. In the Volkswagen 4S store, Wang Yao pointed at a black SUV and said, Hey, this Tiguan looks better than the ones in the county. Is it a high-end car? PFFF. The salesperson next to him laughed. Hey, I really want to pretend that I don't know you. Zhao Yonggang covered his face and said, This is a Touareg, a high-end SUV owned by Volkswagen. It's an imported car. Well, let's buy it. Wang Yao nodded. What? The salesperson was stunned. What? Are you sure? Wang Mingbao and Zhao Yonggang were also stunned. This car is not cheap. Wang Mingbao reminded him. Oh, by the way, how much is it? Wang Yao forgot to ask about the price. The one you're looking at is the top 3. 0. The price of a naked car is about 860,000. If you buy it in full, it will cost about $960,000. If you pay in installments, when can I pick it up? Before the salesperson finished speaking, Wang Yao directly talked about picking up the car. He thought the car was good. He liked it. The price was acceptable, so he decided to buy it. Well, this car has been reserved. If you want to buy it, you have to wait for about a week, the salesperson said softly. When she spoke, she had been observing Wang Yao's expression. She wanted to make sure that the young man who looked about the same age as her was really going to buy a car or was just playing with her. Well, then wait for a week, Wang Yao said. Please wait a moment. Wang Mingbao directly pulled Wang Yao aside. You want to buy this car? Yes. Don't you want to buy a Tiguan? It looks about the same. This car seems to be more high-end. It should be more comfortable to drive. Besides, Tiguan and Touareg are about the same, right? Wang Yao said. It's not even close, my brother, Zhao Yonggang said. At this price, you can buy a BMW X5 or a Mercedes-Benz GLE. It's so cool. If you buy a Touareg, it's the Phaeton in the SUV world. What's a Phaeton? A big Passat, Zhao Yonggang said. In the end, Wang Yao decided to buy this car. First, he liked the car. Second, it was relatively low-key. It was not that Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Land Rover, and so on were not bad, but relatively more people turned their heads and were more eye-catching. In fact, people who knew a little about cars could see the difference between a Tiguan and a Touareg at a glance. The size was different. Well, call me your manager, Zhao Yonggang said directly to the salesperson. The price of this kind of high-end car was usually negotiated by the manager. Okay, please wait a moment. The salesperson trotted into the manager's office. After a while, the manager came out with a smile on his face. Hello, I'm the manager here. My surname is Sunday. Who wants to buy a car? Chapter 52. Wang Yao was not good at negotiating the price, but Zhao Yonggang was an expert. After bargaining, he not only cut off the change, but also asked for a lot of things. But even so, the car still cost more than 900,000 yuan, which was close to 1 million yuan. Wang Yao did not say much after hearing that. He paid the deposit decisively and left. After they left, the salesperson in charge of receiving them just now sighed in a low voice. I can't tell that he is a financial backer. Yeah, he dressed so low-key. Only low-key people would buy that kind of car. Look at how happy the manager is. Of course, he is happy, the salesperson said. Not many cars can be sold in a month. In the car, Wang Yao asked Wang Mingbao next to him, How was my sister recently? Well, she's fine. The guy is quite honest. That's good. After hearing about the rascal who had just divorced, Wang Yao had been a little worried about his sister. After returning to Lianshan County, it was a little after 4 p.m. The sky was a little dark. Wang Yao made an appointment with Wang Mingbao and the others to treat them to a meal the next time they picked up the car. Then, he rode the motorcycle directly home. Looking at Wang Yao's back, Zhao Yonggang asked curiously, What does your brother do? Farming. Why? Wang Mingbao said, Farming? Spend at least 1 million yuan on a car. Zhao Yonggang was surprised. Can't I? Yes, that's great. If I had so much money, I would buy a BMW X5 or Mercedes-Benz GLE. We'll buy a Touareg. I would think it was a Tiguan on the road. Zhao Yonggang sighed. My brother likes to keep a low profile. Awesome. When Wang Yao returned home, it was just in time for dinner. He told his parents about the car. How much is it? About 300,000 yuan. Wang Yao was afraid that his parents would think it was too expensive, so he gave a lower price. What? So expensive? Zhang Xiaoying was surprised. Well, it looks good, Wang Yao said. Where did you get so much money? Zhang Xiaoying asked. I bought some herbs and decocted some medicine, Wang Yao said. Then we can earn more than 300,000. I didn't see any lack of herbs in the herbal field. It's not enough. You didn't check carefully. I still have some left from selling dates and sealwort last time. It's just enough, Wang Yao said. If we spend all the money, what will we use to buy a house? There will be. When the herbs are harvested, the money will be earned back quickly, Wang Yao said. After dinner, Wang Yao finally managed to dispel his mother's doubts. After dinner, Wang Yao hurried out of the house and went up Nanshan Hill. He was afraid that his mother would ask him again and he would spill the beans. As soon as Wang Yao stepped out of the door, Zhang Xiaoying said to her husband, who was still sipping wine at the table. Old Wang, I think this guy is lying to me. Where did he get so much money? It's fine as long as he didn't steal or rob, Wang Fenghua said after taking a sip of wine. Is he involved in pyramid schemes? I heard that a few people went up Nanshan Hill recently with gifts. Pyramid schemes have to give gifts. Besides, your son is on the hill all day. How can he be involved in pyramid schemes? I think there's something fishy going on, Zhang Xiaoying said. What are you talking about? Don't think too much. Give me a bowl of rice, Wang Fenghua said with a bowl in his hand. Hey, didn't you care about that guy a lot before? Why have you changed recently? Let him be. As long as his roots are not damaged, it's fine. I'll tell Xiaoru tomorrow and ask her to ask. Phew, that was close. I almost gave myself away. After going up Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at the herbal field in the dark. All kinds of herbs were growing very well. Looks like I have to harvest a batch in advance. The next morning, Wang Yao got up at dawn. He had a simple breakfast and then started to work. He planted the seeds he bought yesterday in the herbal field and watered them. Then he went up the hill and started to practice in the cold wind every day. The qi in his abdomen flowed around his body like a stream. His girdle meridian had been opened. He faintly felt that one more meridian would be opened soon. After coming down from Nanshan Hill, he started to prepare for the harvest of the herbs planted in the herbal field. Radix gentiani, Radix saposhnikovi, Radix saposhnikovi, Radix saposhnikovi, and Radix saposhnikovi all used their roots as part of the herbs. Wang Yao dug up one of each and looked at it carefully. According to the existing knowledge in his mind, he compared it with the herbs on the internet. He was basically sure that the herbs he planted could be harvested and sold at a high price. Originally, he wanted to call him Mr. Tongue. However, considering that it was only 3 months since the last harvest of sealwort when Mr. Tongue came, these herbs had not been planted yet. Now, they could be harvested. In such a short time, these perennial herbs could be harvested and used as herbs. The growth effect of a few months was comparable to a few years' growth effect. If such a shocking thing was spread out, the consequences would be unimaginable. Should I sell it to someone else? Wang Yao thought. Wait, can I sell it to the pharmacy? Wang Yao took a root of Radix saposhnikovi in his hand, called out the system panel, and then moved his mind. Whoosh! The Radix saposhnikovi in his hand disappeared and appeared in the small exchange grid. Then, the exchange price was -0. 1 reward point. It can be exchanged. This accident made Wang Yao surprised and happy, although the price was very low. Wait, Wang Yao looked in the pharmacy, but did not find Radix saposhnikovi. Why doesn't the system have Radix saposhnikovi? Ordinary medicinal materials are not provided for the time being. Wang Yao was not short of money for the time being, but he was short of reward points. He simply harvested a small half of the 3 kinds of herbs planted in the herbal field, and then directly exchanged them for reward points through the pharmacy. He did not plant a lot, and all the herbs he dug out were exchanged for only 50 reward points. After being busy for most of the day, he finished in the afternoon near the evening. Wang Yao recited the scriptures for a while and went home for dinner when it was dark. Time flowed endlessly like water. The weather in December was supposed to be cold. A cold wave hit, and the temperature suddenly dropped. Wang Yao's mother had persuaded him more than once to go home and not to stay in the mountains at night. It was too cold. Wang Yao refused. He felt that the mountains were very quiet, and a little cold was nothing. On this day, the sky was gloomy and there was no sunlight. In the small village, there were visitors. The car stopped at the south of the village. After getting off the car, the two went straight to Nanshan Hill in a hurry. Hearing the barking of dogs, Wang Yao went out of the hut and saw 2 acquaintances, Guisairu and Hichishing. Both of their faces were not good, and they almost trotted up the mountain. Can you get the medicine faster? Guisairu asked anxiously as soon as they met. Faster? Wang Yao was a little embarrassed. Yes, my grandfather's body had some accidents. 1 month is too long, Guisairu explained. Chapter 53. Guisairu was very anxious because the old man's health was at a critical stage. The doctors who had been taking care of the old man all said they would try their best and informed the family to be mentally prepared. It was a critical moment, and the situation was critical. In fact, Guisairu was also trying to find a doctor when she was sick. She pinned her last hope on the young man in front of her. She had secretly thought about it before. Can this young man really cure the disease that those experts and masters are so familiar with? Guisairu thought. Come back in 3 days, Wang Yao said after thinking for a moment. Now that he had accumulated some reward points, he could exchange them for shanjing and guiyuan, which he needed to make a bowl of regather soup. He had just saved them a few days ago, and the two of them came to him. It was really fate. In that case, he might as well help them this time. 3 more days? Guisairu frowned slightly. 3 days may not be enough, Wang Yao said calmly. Although he had brewed a lot of medicine during this period of time and had mastered a lot of related knowledge through his own learning and the system's enlightenment, this time there were 2 elixirs in it. Whether or not it would succeed and what the effects would be, he was not sure. Moreover, he could not be impatient when decocting herbs. Then 3 days it is, please. Guisairu and he Qixing stayed for a while and then left the mountain. Wang Yao used the reward points he had accumulated to exchange shanjing and guiyuan. After that, he did not have much left. These are shanjing and guiyuan. Wang Yao looked at the 2 herbs in his hands. They were the roots of licorice roots. They were somewhat similar in shape to ginseng, but one was slender and the other was thicker. They had veins and thin whiskers and exuded a light fragrance. He spent a day preparing the herbs and firewood. He read the prescription several times and then chanted and practiced as usual. The next day, the weather was fine and the sun was shining brightly. After finishing his work in the field and practicing, Wang Yao began to decoct the herbs. He checked the prescription and herbs. Firewood, ancient spring water, multifunctional pot for herbs. The fire was lit and the water was boiling. The time to add each herb was different. Some herbs needed to be stewed for a long time before their medicinal effects could enter the medicinal decoction. Some needed a shorter time. If it was too long, the effective medicinal components would be damaged. Wang Yao looked at the multifunctional pot for herbs, estimated the time, and added some firewood from time to time. In fact, the firewood used for decocting medicine was also very particular. Nowadays, natural gas was commonly used for decocting medicine, but the effect was not necessarily good. Firewood was originally a plant, so using it as a fire was in accordance with the way of nature. It was just like firing pottery. Some pottery needed special wood to be fired, and it was impossible to fire it successfully with natural gas. The fire was burning, and the water was boiling steadily. The medicinal properties of the medicine were mixed into the ancient spring water, and the house was filled with a unique medicinal fragrance. The herbs were put in one by one, neither too fast nor too slow. Ginseng, glossy Ganoderma, angelica. As time went by, the medicinal decoction in the pot slowly changed color. The 2 spiritual herbs were also added in one after another. Shanjing was in the front. Like ginseng, it needed a certain amount of time for its medicinal effects to take effect. Guiyuan was added in the back. This herb had the most extraordinary effects. In addition to its extraordinary effects, it could also gather and harmonize the medicinal effects of various herbs. The fire was not extinguished. The pot was taken away. When the temperature of the decoction slowly dropped, Wang Yao put the reddish decoction into a white porcelain bottle that he had prepared in advance. The decoction of regather soup was finished. Wang Yao looked up and looked outside. It was already dark. He was so focused that he did not see the changes in the sky. Whether the decoction was effective or not, he would have to wait for the actual test. Phew! After finishing the decoction, he seemed to have gained something. That day, at about 8 o'clock in the morning, a car drove into the quiet mountain village. 2 people got out of the car and hurried into the mountain. They came to the herbal field but did not see Wang Yao. There was only a dog with shiny fur barking at them. Where did he go? Guisairu looked around anxiously. The dog was about to pounce on them. Miss, don't worry. Let's wait a little longer. He Qixing stopped her in time. Seeing that the 2 people did not take any further action, The dog stopped attacking and barked at the top of the mountain. What a pity! On a rock on the top of Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao heard the dog barking and opened his eyes. Almost one meridian can be opened. He came down from the rock and saw the two people waiting for him. "You are early. Is the decoction ready?" Guisairu asked. "Yes." Wang Yao waved his hand, and the white porcelain bottle appeared in his hand. It was still a little warm. Guisairu reached out to take it. "Task. Good medicine has a price." The system's voice sounded. "Sure enough, it's here." Wang Yao thought. "How much is the decoction?" 80 taels of gold and 1,000,000 coins. So expensive. Hearing the price, Wang Yao sighed. Fortunately, he had the Anshinsen before, so he was not as shocked as he was at the beginning. "Misqua, this decoction has a price." Although unwilling, Wang Yao had to say it. "What?" Guisairu was stunned. "How much?" 1,000,000. "How much?" Guisairu was stunned for a moment and immediately came to her senses. "What's your bank account number?" "I'll transfer the money to you right away." Many people might not be able to save this amount of money in their lifetime, but it was nothing to her. Just like that, Wang Yao's bank account had an additional 1,000,000. Also, this matter has to be kept a secret. Wang Yao emphasized again. "No problem, I'll do what I say." "How do you use the decoction?" Guisairu asked. "Take it warm 3 times within 2 days." After hearing that, Guisairu and He Qixing hurriedly left with the decoction. The car sped on the street. That morning, they took a plane out of Qi province and flew directly to Jing City. In a special ward in a special hospital in Jing City, several medical staff carefully looked after an old man. The old man was lying on the bed in a coma. He looked very thin, and his face was full of age spots. One word to describe him was that he had 1 foot in the grave. A man in his 40s stood by the side with a worried expression. "Uncle Chun, how is he?" "Try your best to keep him alive," the doctor said softly. "You have to be prepared." "Okay. Thank you for your trouble," the middle-aged man said. He walked out of the ward, lit a cigarette, and looked out the window. The night in Jing City was brightly lit. At that moment, a charming middle-aged woman quickly walked over. "How is it? Is the situation better?" the middle-aged woman asked with concern. "No, it's still the same as before." Chapter 54. "I just got the news," the middle-aged woman said. "The people over there are already discussing. This is not going to be easy." Yes, the old man is still alive. Even if they don't help, they won't hit him when he's down. If the old man can't hold on, it's hard to say. Prepare actively. "Where's Big Brother?" the middle-aged woman asked. "He's still there. Some people are already impatient," the middle-aged woman said. "Sigh, if he can hold on for 1 more month, even if it's only 20 days, things will be better." The middle-aged woman sighed and looked around the ward. Right now, the old man was like a big tree to them. Although he was already riddled with holes and was about to fall, as long as he didn't fall, he would be a symbol and a deterrent. Once he fell, the monkeys would scatter. Even if their family didn't disappear, they would disappear into the crowd. While the two of them were talking, the two of them almost ran over. "Sairu, Qixing, why are you here?" The two people were Guisairu and He Qixing. They rushed all the way from Lianshan County. "Third uncle. Aunt, how is Grandpa?" "Still the same. There's no improvement." "Zhenghe just went back," the middle-aged woman said. "I asked for a dose of medicine for Grandpa." Guisairu took out the regather soup from Wang Yao. "A dose of medicine? What kind of medicine?" "Chinese medicine." When Zhenghe was hospitalized in Lianshan County, he was cured by the medicine prescribed by that person. "Sairu, I understand how you feel, but your grandpa's condition is very critical now. It's not like before when he can't stand the torment." The middle-aged woman sighed slightly. She looked at her niece in front of her with gentle eyes. "Secretary Gua, I think we can give it a try," He Qixing said calmly. "Qixing." The middle-aged man's eyes changed slightly. He was very clear about He Qixing's character. It was reasonable for him to say something that didn't know the seriousness of the matter and even sounded a little ridiculous. "But before we try, we can let the 2 masters test the medicine." "Yes, we can let Master Li and Master Sun test the medicine," Guisairu said eagerly. "Well, Let's ask them to test the medicine first. Late at night, a few people came out of the lounge. In addition to Guo Sairu, He Qixing, and the middle-aged man and woman, there were also two old men in their 60s who looked hale and hearty. On the table in front of them was a white porcelain bottle containing Wang Yao's regather soup. The two old men tested the medicine on their own bodies. After half an hour, they asked questions. Qixing, who made this medicine? The slightly thinner elder on the left asked. An unknown Chinese medicine practitioner. Where's the prescription? The elder on the right asked. I don't know, but we provided ginseng, angelica, gynoderma. He Qixing told them about the herbs he had provided. Martial uncles, how is the effect of this medicine? He Qixing, who was standing at the side, asked. We've only tried a little, but we can feel some effects. Old chief, you can try it, but you can't take too much for the first time. Can you test the ingredients of this medicine? The middle-aged man asked. Haha, it's impossible to test all the ingredients of Chinese medicine without knowing the prescription. We can afford to wait, but the old chief can't. This medicine won't hurt people, so don't worry and take it, the slightly fat elder said with a smile. Okay, let's try it. The old man lying on the hospital bed didn't take a large dose for the first time. It was only a small wine glass. After he took the medicine, there was no obvious change at first. However, the two old men didn't leave. They stayed there and checked his pulse every once in a while. After an hour and a half, the slightly thin elder who checked his pulse got up and said, his pulse has become stronger. This is a good sign. The monitoring equipment shows that all the vital signs have also improved, He Qixing said. Give the old chief some more. Another small glass of medicine was given. This time, the effect was more obvious. The old man's fingers moved slightly. It's moving. Grandpa's hand is moving, Guo Sairu whispered. These people, including the medical staff, didn't sleep for the whole night. They took the medicine several times. This time, half of the medicine was taken. The next morning, when the sun shone into the ward, the old man lying on the bed opened his eyes and made a weak sound. Sairu, Grandpa, you're awake? Guo Sairu cried tears of joy. Everyone in the room was very surprised, especially the middle-aged man and woman. They let out a long sigh of relief. What a good medicine. The skinny old man sighed. Yes, I really want to meet that person. Qixing. Uncle, what can I do for you? He Qixing asked very respectfully. Can you introduce the person who made the medicine to us? I'm sorry, Uncle. Miss Guo has promised that person not to disturb his peaceful life. This is one of his requirements for making the medicine for us. He Qixing was a little embarrassed. Oh, I think he's also a person who likes peace and quiet. Fine, but I'm curious. What other requirements did he make? The elder asked with a smile. The other requirements are much simpler. He asked us to provide a few medicinal herbs. Also, the medicine is worth 1 million. It's worth it. Not to mention 1 million. It's worth even 10 million, the slightly fat elder said. It's reasonable to say that a person who likes peace and quiet shouldn't be a person who loves money, the slightly thin elder said. I don't think he values money that much. When Zheng He was poisoned that day, it was he who provided the medicine to get him out of danger. He didn't ask for a single cent. Miss gave him 500,000, but he rejected it directly. He still asked us not to disturb his and his family's normal life. But in the end, he asked for a promise. Promise? What promise? If he needs anything in the future, Miss has to help him as much as possible, He Qixing said. Oh, this promise is not simple. Sairu is a woman's husband. Her words carry weight. Yes, this promise is not simple. Within 2 days, the medicine was finished. The old man's body had an obvious recovery. He had regained his consciousness and could speak a few simple words. This made the whole family very happy. The medical staff who had been treating him were very surprised. However, under Guo Sairu's request, only a few people knew that he had taken a special medicine. It had to be kept a secret. Sairu, Grandpa Sunday, if possible, asked for more medicine. The two elders had been following and observing the patient. They also saw the obvious changes in the patient. The magic of the medicine made them gasp in amazement. Chapter 55. Okay, I'll be right there, said Guasiru. Guasiru said goodbye to her family. She didn't stay any longer and flew to hike with Hichishing. Wang Yao, who was thousands of miles away, didn't know what kind of shock his medicine had caused. His life was still peaceful as usual. He took care of the herbal field, recited scriptures, and practiced martial arts. However, he received 2 notifications in a row. Both of his tasks were completed, and he had a new task. In addition to the reward points, there was a prescription and a bag of seeds for the 2 tasks. Task: Herb Garden. 2. Successfully plant 30 kinds of herbs within 10 days. 3 kinds of licorice roots can't be repeated. The reward is random. If you fail, you will lose the follow-up task. Wang Yao planted all the seeds he had bought in Lianshan County. At the same time, he also planted the seeds rewarded by the system. Pear grass was the name of the licorice roots Wang Yao had just gotten. It didn't sound special, but he found it in the catalog of magic herbs. Pear grass looked like wormwood. It had red flowers and could cure ulcers. After planting all the seeds, he still needed 3 kinds of ordinary herbs and 2 kinds of licorice roots. Wang Yao redeemed 2 kinds of licorice roots from the system's pharmacy and planted them. These 2 licorice roots were prepared for the prescription, which was called blood deblicking powder. It was a very ordinary name. It could promote blood circulation and remove blood clots. It sounded ordinary, but Wang Yao knew it must be extraordinary because it used 2 kinds of licorice roots. Ziu: promote blood circulation and remove depression. Wuding: strengthen tendons and vessels. After planting the 2 kinds of licorice roots, he only needed the ordinary herbs. He couldn't buy them in Lianshan County. Wang Yao planned to buy some online. He read some books and compared them with what he knew. Then he made a list. In one day, he bought dozens of herbs online. Together with the herbs he had planted, he had 96 kinds of herbs. This afternoon, when he was reading natural classics, he heard dogs barking outside. He knew someone had come up the hill. It was Guasiru and Hichishing. They came to ask for regather soup. Wait for 20 days. This was Wang Yao's answer. Can't you go any faster? Guasiru asked. No. Wang Yao shook his head. Although he had received some reward points, he had used up half of them to buy the seeds. Moreover, the herb garden task required more licorice root seeds. The remaining reward points might not be enough, so he had to exchange them with ordinary herbs. Therefore, he did not have enough reward points to exchange for the Shanjing and Guyuan for the regather soup. He could only wait for the seeds to grow. All right, then 20 days it is. Please. Yeah, Wang Yao replied with a smile, and then declined Guasiru's invitation to have dinner with him. The next day, it started to drizzle, and the weather became colder. Wang Yao received a phone call saying that the car he had booked had arrived in Hike, and he was asked to pick it up. He looked up at the sky and went down the mountain with an umbrella. After informing his family, he took a taxi to the bus station in town. When he was about to take the bus to Hike, he suddenly realized a problem. When he arrived in Hike, he might not be able to drive the car back. Although he had gotten his driver's license in his spare time, he had never driven a car properly. He had no choice but to ask his friends for help. After Wang Mingbao received the phone call, he immediately drove to town with Zhao Yonggang, who had gone with him last time. Then, Wang Yao went to Hike. In the 4S store, a black Tuareg was parked quietly. After seeing Wang Yao and the other 2 people, the manager came out to greet them personally with a smile. Wang Yao did not know much about cars. The other 2 people looked at the car and then drove it out for a spin. The car was no problem. After all, it was an imported car. You get what you pay for. Wang Yao paid with his credit card. Of course, the salespeople were busy with the insurance and other things. The manager also knew that Wang Yao was not an ordinary person, so he asked if he needed the 4S store to help him with the listing. Wang Yao agreed without thinking, mainly because he thought it was troublesome. Wang Mingbao watched the new car leave the 4S store and go on the road. Driving a 1 million yuan car is really different. He sighed. It was comfortable to sit in, stable to drive, full of power, and good soundproofing. Why don't you buy one too? Wang Yao smiled and said, I'm not as rich as you. Wang Mingbao waved his hand. The road from Hike to Lianshan County was just built a few years ago. It was wide, and there was a considerable distance of one-way roads with isolation belts. There were not many cars on the road. Wang Mingbao found a place to park and let Wang Yao drive. He watched from the side. Although the car was not small, it was very obedient. There was no clutch and no need to change gears. It saved some trouble. Wang Yao got used to it quickly. When they arrived in town, Wang Yao treated them to a meal and then drove the car back to the village. It was raining and the oil was cold. There were not many people outside. The villagers did not notice that there was an extra car. However, Wang Yao's mother was very happy. She happily held an umbrella and looked inside and outside a few times. Wang Yao took some things from home and then went up the hill. If it was still raining at night, he would prepare some food on the hill and not come down again. In the cold rain, the saplings around Wang Yao's herbal field swayed slightly with the cold wind. There was a little green on each sapling. Most of the leaves had sprouted, and most of them had already grown. It was a sharp contrast to the withered yellow of the surrounding hills. It was not spring. It was winter. This was reverse growth. The rain stopped in the evening. The mountain wind was a bit strong, and it was very cold in the cottage. Fortunately, Wang Yao's physical fitness was more than twice that of ordinary people through continuous practice. He spent almost all his time in the mountains, so the cold was nothing to him. The next day, the weather was gloomy. There was no sunlight and the mountain wind was whistling. Wang Yao took care of the herbal field, as usual, and then went up the mountain to practice. He sat on the rock at the top of the mountain. There was no shelter around, so the mountain wind was a lot stronger. Wang Yao sat there like a piece of mountain rock. He was integrated with the rock under him. The mountain wind was whistling outside his body, and the breath inside his body was flowing. He had already memorized the natural classics. He had been studying all kinds of scriptures in the past few days, which made him have a deeper understanding of the mysteries of the scriptures. On the other hand, he also had a new understanding of the most basic breathing technique and the art of guiding qi. He did not know how long it had been, but he felt his arms tremble slightly. Then, 2 warm streams came back. In fact, above the sky, there were several rays of sunlight piercing through the clouds and shining down. Wang Yao got up and felt that his body was warm. The mountain wind outside his body seemed to be much weaker, and it was not so cold anymore. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, Wang Yao's mother went up the hill. She said that she wanted to go to the town to visit Wang Yao's aunt and uncle. Wang Yao's mother and brother had a total of 4 people. His second aunt went to the capital with the army years ago and came back more than once a year. His aunt and uncle were in Lianshan County, so they had a lot of contact. Chapter 56. I'll go with you. Okay, I'll talk to your father and ask him to come and take a look at the herbal field. He doesn't want to go out anyway. Zhang Xiaoying happily went down the hill. Not long after, Wang Yao's father, Wang Fenghua, went up the hill unhurriedly. Dad, well, go ahead. What I need to pay attention to in the herbal field. It's nothing. I've done what I should do, but I've gotten a lot of herbs recently. You should pay more attention to that small piece of land. Wang Yao pointed at the small piece of land with a few licorice roots. I know. Be careful. Okay, I'll go down the hill. After watching his son go down the hill, Wang Fenghua didn't turn around until his son's figure disappeared. He carefully looked at the herbs planted by his son. It was already December and winter, but the herbal field was full of green. He didn't know the habits of the herbs, but he was familiar with the jujube and chestnut trees next to him for most of his life. Normally, the leaves on the branches should have fallen off, leaving only the bare branches. However, there were more than a dozen trees nearby. Some leaves had fallen off, but most of them were still on the trees, and they were still alternating between yellow and green. He walked to the saplings that had just been planted not long ago and saw the young leaves growing on them. He was even more surprised that the saplings sprouted and grew leaves in winter. It seems that this kid has made something amazing. Wang Fenghua smiled and walked around. After making sure there was no problem, he went into the cottage. Wang Yao, who had gone down the hill, went home and packed some mixed grain noodles with his mother. Then he went out. On the way out of the village, whenever he met an acquaintance, Wang Yao's mother would ask him to stop so that she could say hello to them. Looking at his mother's happy face, Wang Yao shook his head helplessly. Let's see who dares to talk about my son, Zhang Xiuying said. Her expression made Wang Yao suddenly feel a little guilty. In the past 3 years in the village, his parents had heard a lot of rumors and sulked a lot. These things will never happen again. Because he didn't have much driving experience, Wang Yao didn't drive fast. It took him about 20 minutes to reach Lianshan County. He first went to the supermarket to buy something. You don't have to spend so much money, Zhang Xiuying scolded when she heard the price at the checkout. It's fine. It's not like I'm giving it to an outsider, Wang Yao said with a smile. After shopping, the mother and son first went to Wang Yao's aunt's house. His aunt's previous business had gone bankrupt. Coupled with her poor health these past few years, she spent most of her time at home and did not have a fixed job. The two sisters seemed to have endless things to talk about. Wang Yao smiled as he poured tea for them. At noon, they stayed at Zhang Xiumei's house for lunch. In the afternoon, Wang Yao drove Zhang Xiumei and her sister to his uncle's house again. His uncle was not at home, but his aunt was. This time, they didn't stay for long. At around 4 p.m., Wang Yao drove home with his mother. Although Zhang Xiumei called to ask them to stay for dinner, Wang Yao didn't want them to leave. After returning home, Wang Yao cleaned up and had an early dinner. After that, he went to Nanshan Hill. In Lianshan County, Wang Yao's aunt's house, the family of 3 was eating. What is Yao doing at home? Zhang Xiumei's husband asked. Planting herbs. What's wrong? Planting herbs is very profitable. He bought a car so quickly. That car is not cheap. Well, he did make some money, Zhang Xiumei said. Zhang Xiumei said. She still remembered the day when Wang Yao asked for 260,000 yuan for a dose of decoction. She also knew that Tian Yuantu really bought the decoction. At that price, a dose of decoction could be exchanged for a car. Dad, what kind of car did my brother buy? Zhang Xiumei's son asked curiously. Tiguan, Zhang Xiumei said. We have 3 cars in our yard. That's not a Tiguan. Then what is it? I think it looks the same. It just has a higher price, right? Zhang Xiumei asked curiously. Huh. Her husband laughed. When he came back at noon, he took a look at the car. At first glance, it looked like a Tiguan. However, when he took a closer look, it was completely different. It was 2 or 3 times more expensive. The night was getting darker. The wind in the mountain was getting colder. Wang Yao was lying on the bed, covered with a thick quilt. He was holding a volume of Huangting Jing in his hand. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared outside the house. San Xian jumped out of the kennel when he heard the noise. He looked in the direction of the noise and barked in a low voice. Wang Yao got up in a hurry. He put on his clothes and went out of the house. Whoosh! Something was thrown into the house. It flew toward the glass of the house. Wang Yao squinted his eyes. He seemed to have seen the thing flying toward him. He reached out his hand and caught it. It was a stone. Huh! Wang Yao looked at the man in the dark. He felt that his behavior was both annoying and funny. He didn't sleep in the middle of the night. Instead, he came to Nanshan Hill to make trouble. He just wanted to make Wang Yao unable to stay on Nanshan Hill and give up the contract of Nanshan Hill. However, the way he did it was really childish. San Xian, who was next to him, was about to pounce on him. San Xian, stay here and take care of the house. Wang Yao looked at the man who wasn't going to leave. He had been reading Taoist scriptures recently to pursue the tranquility of life. However, it didn't mean that he didn't have a temper. He didn't want to be bullied. Whoosh! Another stone was thrown at him. Wang Yao reached out his hand and caught it as usual. With the continuous practice and the daily drinking of the ancient spring water, his 5 senses were extraordinary. He could even see things at night. Although it was not as clear as during the day, it was not far away. Moreover, his body's reaction speed was extraordinarily fast. Damn it! The man who didn't sleep at night and came to make trouble was surprised. He missed twice in a row. Let me see who you are. Wang Yao ran toward the man. In the dark night, in the field full of herbs and trees, he could see clearly. He avoided the herbs and saplings as if he was running on flat ground. His speed was amazing. Oh no, I'll run. The man turned around and ran. However, he couldn't be faster than Wang Yao. When he was about to be caught, another man suddenly appeared in the field not far away. In the dark night, he threw a stone at Wang Yao. Wang Yao hurriedly dodged. He looked up and saw the man. "You have an accomplice?" He bent down and picked up 2 stones. The chi in his abdomen flowed to his arms. He threw the stones at the man who was about to leave. "Ah!" The man screamed. Then he threw a stone at another man who was running further away. The man screamed and staggered. He almost fell to the ground. Wang Yao was about to catch up with the man. However, he suddenly stopped and turned around to look at the herbal field and cottage not far away. Chapter 57. Is there a third person? Wang Yao thought. It was this moment of absent-mindedness and hesitation that allowed the 2 people to escape. It's late at night, deep in the mountains. Good luck. Wang Yao looked at the 2 people who had disappeared. He was not going to let this matter go. If he did not teach some people a lesson, they would think that others were weak and easy to bully. They would only be more unscrupulous and take advantage of others. The next day, after he finished his work in the herbal field and finished his practice, he told his mother at home and asked her to help take care of the herbal field. Then, he drove out of the village and went to the town. After that, he drove directly to the village committee. Several village committee members were there. They were very enthusiastic when they saw Wang Yao. They were all smart and capable village committee members. They always knew what happened on a daily basis. These days, some people had entered the village. They did not drive ordinary cars. After entering the village, these people all had the same destination, the cottage on Nanshan Hill, and the young man in front of them. This was enough to show that he was extraordinary. Wang Yao greeted these people very respectfully. They were all his elders. "Yao, what's the matter?" Wang gently asked with a smile. "Uncle, in the contract I signed with the village, it mentioned that in addition to the payment for the mountain, I will give the village an extra 20,000 yuan every year, right?" Wang Yao said, "Yes, that's right. Here is 40,000 yuan for the next 2 years." Wang Yao took out 40,000 yuan and put it on the table in front of Wang gently. "What?" Several people in the room looked at the money on the table and were stunned. If it was any other contractor, whether it was contracting the mountain or renting the land, they would refuse the contract payment if they could. However, this young man in front of him had not only taken out 400,000 yuan, but he had also taken the initiative to take out 40,000 yuan. This money was different from the contract payment. It was purely a personal donation. How to spend it was purely up to the few of them. Wang village was different from other villages. There were no resources. Moreover, it was surrounded by mountains. The geographical location was not good. Even if they wanted to sell the land, no one would buy it. The extra 20,000 yuan this year was not a small amount for the village committee. "What's wrong, uncle? You don't want the money anymore?" Yes. Wang gently laughed loudly. Then, he signaled the accountant to keep the money after counting it. Now that it was almost the end of the year, how could he not take the money that was delivered to his door? "Yao, is there anything else?" Wang gently asked with a smile. They were both in their 40s and had seen many things. He knew that Wang Yao didn't come today just to give him 40,000 yuan. Otherwise, why would he come at this time instead of earlier or later? "I do have something to trouble the village," Wang Yao said with a smile. "What's the matter? Sit down and let's talk." Wang gently pointed at the sofa beside him. "I think the security of the village needs to be strengthened." "Huh?" When the people in the room heard this, they couldn't help but sit up straight. It was obvious that this young man was implying something. "What's the matter?" Wang Jinli's face changed slightly. "Someone maliciously damaged my herbal field, and it's not just once." Wang Yao said seriously, "I think the village should take care of this matter. Sure enough, there's a way to give this money. It's a little hot," a few people in the room secretly said. They were very clear about the things that had happened in the village recently. One of the things that had been talked about the most was Wang Yao and the Nanshan Hill that he had contracted. Many people said that the feng shui of Nanshan Hill was good, and anything that was planted would grow. Wang Yao relied on this to make a fortune. Didn't you see that he had bought a car? Some people even said that he had bought several houses in the city. As for these claims, they didn't believe them. If the feng shui of Nanshan Hill was good, then why didn't anything grow in the past? Could it be that it was suitable for growing herbs? It might be true that Wang Yao had made a lot of money, but he definitely did not make as much money as he had bought several houses in the city. If he had made a lot of money, there would not have been a rumor that he had committed suicide by jumping into the river because he could not make enough money. Some people couldn't bear to see others make money, and they were jealous. Naturally, they would stir up trouble. They knew these people in their hearts. It was just that because they were from the same village and were related to each other, it wasn't a serious matter, so they didn't care. However, now that it had developed to the extent of damaging the herbal field, this was a big deal. The village will investigate this matter as soon as possible and give you an answer, Wang Jinli said. Okay, then I'll go home and wait for the news. If it's too difficult, I'll think of another way, Wang Yao said. After the matter was settled, Wang Yao didn't stay any longer and left directly. After he left, the people in the room lit up their cigarettes. No one spoke. Tell me about it. Wang Jinli was the first to speak. This matter was done wrongly, the village director said. Isn't it? They were jealous. It's fine if they talk nonsense, but why did they do it? The accountant said. There are only a few people. We'll know if we ask, the joint defense captain said in a low voice. Check the surveillance first and ask those people the key points. Jian Gang will do it. Hurry up. This young man may have a backup plan, Wang Jinli said. Okay. After the matter was settled, Wang Yao went home. He parked his car and went up Nanshan Hill. As soon as he entered the house, Zhang Xiaoying smiled and said, Hey son, Mom wants to ask you something. What's the matter? You said you watered the herbs and trees with some microbial fertilizer, right? Yes, what's the matter? Then you can find a way to buy more. You see, these trees don't shed leaves in the winter after using it. If the crops are used, will they continue to grow in the winter? Your aunt in the east asked me about this matter. Speaking of this matter, Zhang Xiaoying was a little proud. However, she didn't dare to say it definitively. She was afraid her son would be in trouble. When Wang Yao heard this, he knew he had to make up another story. This herbal field had already begun to show its magic. As time went by, it was like the moon behind the clouds and the gold in the yellow sand. It would eventually be dazzling. When the time comes, what reason should I use to explain it? Yao, what are you thinking about? Mom is asking you a question. Seeing that her son was a little lost in thought, Zhang Xiaoying asked softly. Mom, that kind of thing is very expensive. A few thousand yuan can't buy a few kilograms. This is just a little bit for me to try. They mainly use it in vegetable greenhouses and soilless cultivation. Wang Yao quickly thought of a suitable reason. So expensive. Zhang Xiaoying was shocked. How much does 1 mu of land cost? On the one hand, it's expensive. On the other hand, this kind of high-tech product is not enough to sell. Regarding this matter, don't tell others about it. Don't mention it in the future, lest I feel embarrassed, Wang Yao said. Okay. When she heard that her son was embarrassed, Zhang Xiaoying thought that no matter who asked about it in the future, she would directly refuse and say that she didn't know. Chapter 58. Leave it to me. You can go home and have a rest. Sitting in the house, Wang Yao made a cup of tea and looked at the green garden outside. He suddenly felt comfortable. Wang Yao liked this kind of quiet rural life more and more. The next day, the herb seeds he bought from the internet arrived. He didn't rush to plant them. Instead, he planned carefully according to the land that had been cultivated. After all, there were dozens of kinds of Chinese herbs. He divided the land into about 2 square squares and prepared to plant different herb seeds in each square. In this way, even if he planted 100 kinds of herbs, 1 mu of land would be enough. After planting, he planted more herbs. Including the ones he planted a few days ago, there were 30 kinds in total, which was just enough for the task. Then he watered carefully. As more and more herbs were planted, he felt that he didn't have enough ancient spring water, and the scale of the herbal field would be bigger and bigger in the future. It would be great if I could have more. He carefully looked at the 2 licorice roots he planted, Ziyu and Wuding. Ziyu didn't have any special requirements, but for safety reasons, Wang Yao planted it near the cottage. He consciously left the herbal field empty to leave some space for the licorice roots he might get in the future. Wuding's requirements were special. It was a vine, so it couldn't grow upright. It could only attach to other things. Wuding's special requirements were that it needed to attach to living plants. Therefore, he planted Wuding's seeds under the nearest jujube trees. Detoxification grass, moonlight grass, Shanjing, Guyuan, Ziyu, and Wuding's licorice roots. He had planted 6 licorice roots so far, so he had some experience. Although they were all licorice roots, their growth speed was different. He recorded the growth process of each licorice root in a book. Although he had the catalog of magic herbs, he felt that some things in the book might not be the same as the reality. When he was done, it was already dark. He packed up his things, locked the door, and went down the mountain to eat. On the way down the mountain, he received a call from the Volkswagen 4S store. In the morning, he had received a call yesterday saying that there were a few good license plates issued. He helped to choose one. Wang Yao thought it was good, so he settled on it. He had called him today and asked him to go through the relevant procedures tomorrow. Okay, sorry to trouble you. Wang Yao hung up the phone and went back home. When he was having dinner, he told his family, "Are you going alone? Hike is quite far from here. Why don't you ask someone to go with you?" "It's fine. Don't we have a GPS? Besides, I've been there once. What can you do at once? Why don't you ask your sister to go with you?" Zhang Xiaoying was worried. "She has to go to work. Then let Ming Bao go with you. He still has to look after the door and do business. He doesn't have the time to accompany me," Wang Yao said with a smile. However, in the end, he couldn't refuse and had to agree to go with someone next day. After entering winter, the night became very long, and it was the night before dawn. Wang Yao was in a small hut in the mountains. Out of habit, he would lie on the bed and read a book before going to bed. However, after turning off the light tonight, he lay on the bed and thought about something. Now that I have this system, I own a mountain farm, know how to make medicine, earn money, and buy a car. If I want to, I can buy a few houses in the city at any time. The dreams of the past, the things that were out of my reach, have all become a reality, and they can become even better. What should I do next? Make use of this system to make more money than I can spend in a few lifetimes? Or become a famous pharmacist in the world? Be at ease. These words from the Nanhua scripture suddenly appeared in his mind. What I want is a peaceful and natural life. Fame and fortune, it doesn't matter if I have them or not. It doesn't matter if I come or go. I'll just let nature take its course. As for the system and the various changes it brings, I'll just let nature take its course. After thinking about all these things, he suddenly felt that his understanding of the Taoist scriptures that he used to read in the past seemed to have improved. Unknowingly, he fell asleep. The next day, he took care of the herbal field, climbed the mountain, and practiced. After that, he went down the mountain and drove to hike. Be careful on the road. Don't forget to ask someone to go with you. Zhang Xiaoying did not forget to remind Wang Yao. I know, Mom. I'll have to trouble you on the mountain. Okay, don't worry. He didn't plan to ask anyone else to accompany him. Instead, he drove directly to hike. Since the car had a GPS system and the road was wide, he didn't drive too fast. He arrived at the place where he bought the car smoothly. The manager of the shop received him in person. Then, they went to get the license plate, installed it on the car, and got the driving license. After finishing all these procedures, it was only noon. The manager warmly invited Wang Yao to have lunch together. Let's have lunch together, but I have to treat you. Originally, he wanted to treat the manager to lunch together. After all, he had been busy. Moreover, the manager seemed to have chosen a good license plate number. Although it was not a straight or a leopard, it was not an ordinary license plate number. It was said that the license plate number was chosen by computer, but there were still some ways to do it. He did not expect the manager to speak first, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Okay. In the end, the manager smiled and said he mainly wanted to get to know Wang Yao. The two of them chose a place nearby. Hike was close to the sea, so there was a lot of seafood. They ordered several seafood dishes. Because Wang Yao was driving, he did not drink. The meal did not take long and did not cost much. After lunch, Wang Yao said goodbye to the manager and drove home. As soon as he arrived home and parked the car, he received a call. It was from Wang Mingbao. Hello, Mingbao. Are you at home? Yes. I'll go to Nanshan Hill to see you. Okay. Not long after Wang Yao went to Nanshan Hill, Wang Mingbao followed him. Try this tea. How is it? The tea was good. It was Kimon black tea. Tian Yuantu had left it last time. Wang Yao had drunk some of it these days. Even someone like him, who did not know much about tea, could tell it was good tea. It's delicious. What kind of tea is this? Wang Mingbao took a sip and praised. Take it back to drink it. Wang Yao went to get a small bucket of tea and handed it to him. There were 2 boxes of tea with a total of 8 small buckets. He took 1 box and left it at home for his parents to drink. He left the rest on Nanshan Hill. He had drunk a lot these days. Kimon black tea. This tea is very famous. It's not cheap. Well done. You are getting better at enjoying life. Wang Mingbao looked at the small bucket of tea and smiled. Do you have something to do at home? I heard that there are still some people in the village who don't know how to open their eyes. Wang Mingbao said as he put down a teacup. You came here for this? Wang Yao was slightly surprised. Immediately, he felt warm in his heart. This was the so-called buddy. Chapter 59. I've talked to the village. Let them deal with it first, Wang Yao said with a smile. Them? Those rascals in the village? You expect the village to deal with them? Wang Mingbao was surprised. Every village had a few troublemakers. They were not rampant in the village, but no one was willing to deal with them. They avoided them for fear of getting into trouble. There were 2 or 3 such people in Wangjia village. Everyone in the village was annoyed by them. They caused trouble everywhere when they had nothing to do. Usually, their hands and feet were not clean. They had done a lot of sneaky things. The village committee had tried to work with them several times, but they were ignored. On the contrary, the village director who went to work with them was very angry. However, these people were also afraid. The person they were afraid of was sitting opposite Wang Yao. For such people, Wang Mingbao never tried to move them or reason with them. He just beat them up. If he saw them in the village, he would beat them up. If he saw them from afar, he would beat them up. If he blocked their house, he would beat them up. He would beat them until they were crying and begging for mercy. These people could not stand it. They had talked to the village, but the village did not care. They wanted someone to teach them a lesson. In the end, they went directly to the police station. In the end, they were taught a lesson because of their sneaky things in the past. Who asked them to have a father who could talk? For these people, Wang Mingbao's guiding philosophy was to beat them up. Beat them until they are convinced. Beat them until they are scared. Beat them until they tremble when they see them. For a considerable period of time, these people ran away when they saw Wang Mingbao from afar. They were really running away. They were afraid that they would be beaten again if they were slow. Let's wait. They don't care. Let's talk about it later. I'll ask later. Who was the one who was itching for a beating? Wang Mingbao said. He was a loyal person. He was good to his friends. He respected the old and loved the young. He had a good reputation in the village. However, he always maintained the same principle for those rascals. How's your business in town? It's not bad. Recently, there are a lot of real estate projects in town. There are also a lot of renovation companies. The business is not bad. Where's my sister? Is that guy still pestering her? Well, he hasn't given up yet. Don't worry, my brother is watching him. Wang Mingbao said. After staying with Wang Yao for a while, Wang Mingbao took his leave. The sun slowly set behind the mountaintop. After reciting the scriptures several times, Wang Yao walked around the herbal field and stopped under the dozen or so trees. These chestnut trees and jujube trees still had most of their leaves, even though it was winter. It was as if they were not afraid of the cold and were preparing to spring again in the winter. The ginseng that Wang Yao had planted under the tree had already grown leaves. A 3-leaf ginseng stood under the tree in the wind. Don't rush, take your time. The next morning, Wang Yao heard the system prompt. Mission, 100 her garden 2 within 10 days, successfully plant 30 types of herbs. Among them, 3 types of spiritual herbs must not be repeated. Completed, you will be rewarded with a prescription. The host has met the requirements to upgrade. Do you want to upgrade? Upgrade. Wang Yao did not expect to meet the requirements to upgrade again. This was an unexpected surprise. Character level, 3 profession level. Rookie, well, you're almost done. Herb planting, level 2 primary. You can plant herbs and have some experience. After upgrading, the most direct reward was a skill point, which was very precious. If you want to learn the various magical skills on the skill tree, you had to use the skill point. Where should I use it? There were two paths. One was medical skills, the other was pharmaceutical skills. Although the two were separate, they were actually one and could not be omitted. If he chose medical skills, it should be ask and look, listen, ask and diagnose. If he chose pharmaceutical skills, he did not know what ability it was. After hesitating for a while, Wang Yao chose pharmaceutical skills. All of a sudden, his head buzzed as if it had been hit by a heavy blow. It was a familiar feeling, as if he had been enlightened. In an instant, a large amount of knowledge appeared in his mind. It was the knowledge of medicinal herbs, what kind of medicinal herbs, what kind of medicinal effects they had, and how to use them. Fortunately, he was mentally prepared. After he recovered, he looked up at the herbs he planted in the herbal field. Intuitively, he was more familiar with them. Not only did he know their growth characteristics, but he also knew their effects and side effects. He also knew who could use them and who couldn't. All these were firmly imprinted in his mind. He seemed to be developing in the direction of a human form of the compendium of materia medica. In addition to these, there was another change in the pharmacy. It could provide more herbs and prescriptions, but the price was still very high. Wang Yao could only look at it. What made him most happy was that the amount of ancient spring water increased from 1 bucket per day to 3 buckets per day. That's great. When Wang Yao was unable to water the large expanse of the herb field smoothly, the reward came. It was a typical case of giving a pillow when one was sleepy. The system was not always so deceitful. In a villa in Jizhou, nearly 1,000 miles away, there were two middle-aged men. One looked quite masculine, and the other looked more elegant. "Yuan-tu, is what you said true? We have known each other for so many years. Well, have I ever lied to you?" The man who spoke was Tian Yuan-tu. "Then I'll have to trouble you to help me ask." "Yes. When I was studying, I was taken care of by my aunt. Of course, I will do my best. If there are no accidents, my transfer should be settled soon. It's most likely that it's there." The scholarly man said, "Oh, that's not bad." "Yes." The sky outside the house was a little gloomy. A gust of wind blew, and sporadic snowflakes fell. Wang Yao was holding a book of Nanhua Jing. He made a cup of black tea on the table and read silently. He was savoring the ancient spirit of the ancient sages. Ring. Buzz. The phone on the table suddenly rang. Wang Yao put down the book and looked at the phone. The number showed that it was Yang Ming, his former classmate. They had met several times in Lianshan County. "Hello, Yang Ming. Old classmate, what are you busy with?" Yang Ming's laughter came from the other end of the phone. "At home. What's up? It's like this. It's almost the end of the year. Many classmates have come back. I asked them to gather together. Do you want to come? Class gathering? I have something to do recently. I'm afraid." Wang Yao thought for a moment and said, since he went to university, his classmates from middle school and high school gathered together almost every year. In the beginning, it was quite good. They sat together and chatted, got to know each other, and talked about their future plans. They were pure classmates. Gradually, the atmosphere of the class gathering changed. It became a place for some people to show off. It became a place for some students to network and do business. Since then, Wang Yao faintly rejected this kind of gathering. Chapter 60. Don't do that. The other classmates all agreed. You're not giving them any face. Yang Ming laughed on the other end of the phone. Send me the address and time. If I can make it, I'll go over, Wang Yao said. Okay, you have to come. There's a beauty. Huh. Wang Yao laughed and hung up the phone. He then shook his head. Not long after he hung up the phone, a text message was sent to his phone. It was the time and place of the class reunion. That night, after dinner, when Wang Yao was about to go up the hill, an unexpected guest came. It was the village secretary, Wang Jianli. Yao, you're going up the hill again? Uncle, please come in and have a seat. After inviting Wang Yao into the house, Wang Jianli and Wang Yao's parents greeted them. What's the matter? Zhang Xiaoying asked. I'm here to see Yao. Wang Jianli pointed at Wang Yao said. Looking for me? What's the matter? Wang Yao asked. Can you persuade Ming Bao? Wang Jianli lit a cigarette. Ming Bao, what's wrong with him? Wang Yao was surprised. This morning, he met Shan Fa on the road. I don't know why, but he went straight up and beat him up. He met him again in the afternoon and beat him up again. Shan Fa is still hiding in my house, Wang Jianli said. He thought highly of Wang Mingbao. He was polite and knew when to advance and when to retreat. He didn't run amok in the village just because his father was the deputy mayor. However, Wang Mingbao's temper was really bad. Once he was stubborn, he wouldn't listen to advice at all. However, he knew that Wang Yao grew up with him, so Wang Mingbao would most likely listen to him. Moreover, Wang Mingbao might have taken the initiative to look for that guy because of Wang Yao's herbal field. About this, I'll persuade him. Wang Yao laughed. He didn't expect his friend's temper to be so impulsive. Well, you have to hurry. There's another relative outside. When he heard about this, he didn't dare to go back to the village. They haven't been so scared for a long time. Wang Jinli laughed. During this time, Wang Mingbao's business outside was getting better and better. He spent less and less time in the village. Those people were like broken cars. If no one took care of them for a period of time, they would jump up and down again. He didn't expect this evil star to take action again. There's one more thing. There's a deputy mayor in the county. The mayor's position may be changed. Mingbao's father may be promoted. It's best not to cause trouble at this time. Wang Jinli added another sentence. Normally, he wouldn't easily tell these young people about this kind of officialdom, especially those in the village. However, after a few interactions, he felt that this young man sitting in front of him was not ordinary. Even if he didn't enter the officialdom, his future achievements would be extraordinary. It was not bad to tell him about this kind of thing. Okay, I understand. Hearing this, Wang Yao naturally took it to heart. After all, it was related to the future of Wang Mingbao's father. He couldn't let something go wrong because of this small matter. After talking about business, Wang Jinli sat for a while and talked about other things. When he left, Wang Yao followed him out and went up the hill. Usually, during dinner, he would try to shorten the time. Sometimes, he didn't go down the hill. Even if he went down the hill, he would leave the lights on in the cottage. He was afraid that someone would go up and cause trouble at this time. It would be great if those saplings could grow a little thicker. After Wang Yao returned to the hill, he gave Wang Mingbao a call and told him to be more restrained these days. As for the small matter in the village, to be honest, he didn't care too much. He could be as calm as still water, but he could also be as turbulent as waves. As time went by, the weather became colder. They're still growing a little slow. Wang Yao looked at the Shanjing and Guiyuan that he had planted. The growth of these two types of licorice roots was slower than he thought. Now, the leaves of these two licorice roots had not fully grown. Unlike the moonlight herb and the detoxification herb, which used leaves as part of the medicine, these two types of licorice roots needed roots. The growth speed of these two types of licorice roots was much slower than the growth of leaves. At this rate, I'm afraid that the regather soup can't be finished in the agreed time. Wang Yao opened the system and checked it. He found that the reward points that he had accumulated from these tasks could be used to redeem the two types of licorice roots needed to decoct the regather soup. After estimating the time, he directly redeemed Shanjing and Guiyuan. He was going to decoct the regather soup for Guosairu's grandfather. Thousands of miles away in Jing City, in a senior official's ward, several people were sitting around the bed. A thin old man was lying on the bed. He didn't look very good. "Dad, are you feeling better?" An elegant man in his 40s, who was slightly plump, asked softly. "Don't you have anything to do? You are all in important positions and have a lot of things to do. How can you stay here for a whole day? You look at me like this, and I'm cured?" Facing a room full of children, the old man didn't have the slightest bit of happiness or joy. Instead, he was a little angry. Although his voice wasn't very loud because his body hadn't recovered, the people sitting around the bed all kept quiet out of fear. "Dad, we are relieved that you are fine," a slightly younger middle-aged man said. "You're relieved. Those people will leave some leeway on account of the fact that I'm still alive. Your situation will be much better now, won't it?" The old man's tone became more and more severe. "Dad, the The middle-aged woman, who still retained her charm, said softly. Sigh. The old man sighed. I will die sooner or later. Even if I have Cyru's blessing, what's the use of holding on for another year or so? What you really need to do is to govern in your positions. As an official, you have to be upright and upright. Overt schemes are the main and auxiliary. You have been confused and blinded by power. You have put the cart before the horse. Dad, we know. What do you know? Go back to work and mind your own business. Don't jump up and down. The people above are not blind. They're doctors here. If I have any problems, I will naturally inform you. The old man slammed the bedboard angrily. Yes, the few of them left the ward one after another. Not long after they left, a beautiful young woman entered the ward. Grandpa, are you feeling better? The woman held a thermos in her hand. I just boiled some chicken soup for you. In fact, according to the old man's status, in a ward like this, he could just say what he wanted to eat. Naturally, someone would prepare it for him. He didn't have to do it personally. Chapter 61. Much better. My good granddaughter is the best. She's sensible and doesn't make me angry. A smile appeared on the old man's face, and his gaze softened. He was like a completely benevolent elder, completely different from before. Let me feed you some chicken soup. Gwasiru fed the old man a small bowl of chicken soup. Grandpa, Uncle he will bring the second decoction here soon. By then, your body will get better and better, Gwasiru said with a smile. Ah, Grandpa has to thank Cyru. The old man smiled and touched the girl's hair. As long as Grandpa is well, Gwasiru said, I have to thank the pharmacist. Pharmacist, the young man you mentioned? The old man asked. Yes, Uncle he said he is very good. He planted a lot of herbs and knows the 5 elements array. Oh, the 5 elements array. I haven't seen that for a long time. Grandpa would like to meet this interesting young man. In fact, when the old man heard his granddaughter mention that the medicine came from that young man, he had some thoughts. Although he kept saying that he would die sooner or later, he still wanted to live a little longer. The older a person was, the more they feared death. Moreover, although he scolded, he was still worried about his children. I also want to bring him here to treat you, but when I asked him to save Zhenghe, I promised not to disturb his peaceful life. Even if I force him to come, he might not treat you, Gwasiru said. Yes, you said a lot. People have to keep their promises. In the cottage on Nanshan Hill, there was a fire in a pot. The smell of herbs was curling up. Wang Yao was focused on boiling the decoction. He exchanged Shanjing and Guiyuan from the system. After he was fully prepared, he began to boil the regather soup. He was not in a hurry. He simmered it over a small fire. In fact, the process of boiling the decoction was a different kind of enjoyment. Imagine several different kinds of herbs were mixed together and then slowly boiled. In the end, you could get a decoction that could cure diseases and save lives. It was a very fulfilling thing. This time, there were no accidents. Wang Yao successfully boiled the regather soup. In addition to boiling the decoction, he planted a kind of licorice root. Cold frost. Hibernates in summer and grows in winter. It is cool in nature and clears away heat. In the second mission of the Herb Garden series, he was asked to plant 3 kinds of spirit grass. The purple rain and black vine that he had already planted could also be counted in. This made him a little happy. He only needed to plant 1 more, so he chose this spirit grass. The main reason was that it was winter now, which was very suitable for the growth of this spirit grass. 2 days later, he received another notification from the system. Mission: 100 Herb Garden 2 within 10 days. Successfully plant 30 types of herbs. Among them, 3 types of spiritual herbs must not be repeated. The reward is a pack of herb seeds. Mission: Herb Garden 3. Successfully plant 100 types of herbs within 30 days, and the number of spiritual herbs required is no less than 7 types, including the herbs planted in tasks 1 and 2. Reward: Catalog of Magic Herbs Part 2, 1 prescription, 1 pack of herb seeds, and 1 skill point. The rewards of the series of missions were indeed generous. Fortunately, I'm prepared. Wang Yao had purchased enough seeds of ordinary herbs. However, he cannot buy spirit grass. He could only exchange them through the system's pharmacy. After these medicinal herbs were planted, the newly cultivated medicinal field did not look so empty anymore. Wang Yao did not have many seeds of each type of herb. He only had dozens of them. He was not going to continue to sell these herbs. Instead, he was going to use them to make his own medicine. He spent 3 days planting the seeds of the ordinary herbs, the rest with the spirit grass. However, he was not in a hurry. Instead, he wanted to choose some spirit grass that was targeted. Just as the weather was getting colder and it was approaching the end of December, He Qixing went to Nanshan Hill. He did not come empty-handed. He brought some gifts: 2 bottles of wine, Flying Mount Eye, 2 cartons of cigarettes, Yellow Crane Tower. In fact, he did not buy these things for Wang Yao. After several contacts, he speculated that the young man in front of him did not drink or smoke. However, he had inquired a little about his family. His father liked to drink and smoke. These things were for Wang Yao's father. "I can't accept these things," Wang Yao said. "I've already brought them up the hill. It would be too heavy if I took them down. If you don't want them, you can give them to someone else," He Qixing said with a smile. "Don't do it again." Wang Yao didn't make a fuss about it. "Is the medicine ready?" "Yes." Wang Yao turned his hand. A white porcelain bottle appeared in his hand. It was still warm. "I'll transfer the money right away." He Qixing took the medicine with both hands. He was very careful. He was very clear about what had happened in Jing City. A dose of medicine had dragged the seriously ill and almost exhausted old senior official back from the brink of death. He was out of danger. Moreover, his complexion had improved significantly. This dose of medicine was priceless. Wang Yao heard the phone in his pocket ring. He knew the money must have been transferred to his account. He did not look at it carefully. "Miss Gua, is your grandfather better?" "He's much better. Thank you very much." He Qixing was very sincere. He had feelings for the old senior official. He knew the significance of the old senior official's recovery. After this tense period, the old senior official would not have any problems for a long time. "That's good. Come in and have a cup of tea. Sorry to disturb you." He Qixing was very polite. The cottage was very tidy. On the ordinary wooden table, there was an ordinary white porcelain teapot and a few white porcelain teacups. They were very clean. They sat on an ordinary folding stool. Wang Yao drank the Kimun black tea from Tian Yuan 2. The water was ancient spring water. Kimun black tea? He Qixing looked at the tea barrel. He knew the tea must be expensive. Among the black teas, Kimun black tea was the best. "Yes, a friend gave it to me," Wang Yao said with a smile. "Your life is really comfortable. You're like a hermit in the mountains." "I envy you," He Qixing praised. "You flatter me. Have some tea." "Thank you." He Qixing picked up the teacup and took a sip. The aroma was strong, the taste was mellow, and the aftertaste was lasting. Good tea. He could not help but praise. He had drunk Kimun black tea before, but it was the first time he had tasted it like this. Fragrant tea and good wine each had their own characteristics. Some people were addicted to wine, while others liked to drink tea. Wang Yao did not say anything. He just smiled. "This tea is good. The water is good too," He Qixing said. Pure Kimun black tea would not be able to reach such a level. The water used to brew the tea also contributed to the taste. The water from the mountain spring is better than natural water. Chapter 62. He Qixing stayed in the cottage for about 20 minutes. He had a good chat with Wang Yao. Although he wanted to stay a little longer, the senior officer in Beijing was still waiting for him, so he had to get up and leave. "Thank you for your hospitality. I'll look forward to seeing you next time." "Okay." He Qixing left with the regather soup he got from Wang Yao. He went down the hill and went straight to Beijing. In the afternoon, the sun was slightly lazy. Wang Yao made a cup of tea and read a book leisurely. Just as Wang Yao was enjoying this quiet life, suddenly there was a noise. "Yao, I'm here." Hearing this voice, Wang Yao sighed and rubbed his forehead. "Sister." "Hey." Wang Ru walked into the cottage happily. "Hey, what's the meaning of your expression?" "Nothing. Why are you here?" "Today and tomorrow are the weekends. I asked for leave early." "Well, you bought a car at Tiguan. Why didn't you tell me?" Wang Ru said. "Well, I think if you have time on Saturday and Sunday, You can stay in the city and quickly solve your marriage. I'll take care of your family. You don't have to worry about it for the time being. What do you mean? You've grown up. You dare to teach your sister a lesson? Wang Ru rolled up her sleeves and was about to pinch Wang Yao's ear. Sister, you're a lady. Who would want to marry you like this? You're still reading books? What books? The Nanhua Jing, the Huangting Jing, and the Tao Te Ching. Aren't you the one who wants them? Are you a monk? Wang Ru walked to the table and handed out the scriptures on the table with her eyes wide open. I read them when I'm free. I don't want to be a monk for the time being. Thank you. What are you waiting for? Give me some water, Wang Ru said. Yes. Wang Yao made a pot of tea for his sister. It was Chiman black tea. Hey, this tea is good. Wang Ru took a sip and sighed. What other good things do you have? Take them out quickly. No, Wang Yao said. No more. That can't be right. Wang Ru put down the teacup and looked around. Then she saw 2 bottles of wine and 2 cigarettes in the corner. She got up and walked over. What's this? Mount Ai, Yellow Crane Tower. Wang Ru was stunned. She didn't pay much attention to cars on weekdays, so she didn't know the difference between Tuareg and Tiguan. But she knew a little about alcohol and cigarettes, especially these famous cigarettes and wines. The 2 bottles of alcohol and 2 cartons of cigarettes in front of her were estimated to cost several thousand yuan. This can't be fake, right? Wang Ru stared at the cigarettes and wine in front of her for a while before she blurted out. My friend gave it to me. It should be real, Wang Yao said. Really? Your friend is really generous. When are you going to introduce him to me? Wang Ru joked. He's old enough to be your uncle, Wang Yao said seriously. In this way, Wang Yao's peaceful afternoon was completely disrupted by Wang Ru's arrival. Sis, go home and help Mom cook. It's not even 4 o'clock. Why do you need to cook? Take the cigarettes and wind downstairs and tell him you bought them for Dad. He'll be happy. Nonsense. Do you think Dad doesn't know what's good for him? Buying cigarettes and wine for him with a few thousand yuan? He'll lecture me for half a day. Wang Ru said. I'm busy. What are you busy with? Let me help you. Sis, do you know how to drive? Wang Yao's eyes suddenly lit up. Of course. I've had my driver's license for more than 2 years. By the way, give me your car key. I'm going to practice, Wang Ru said. The car key is at home. You can ask Mom and Dad for it. Then I won't talk nonsense with you anymore. I'm leaving. Phew, finally gone. Hey, don't drive in the ditch. Wang Yao said to his sister who was trotting down the hill. Got it. After Wang Ru left, the cottage was finally quiet. In fact, Wang Yao still hoped that his sister could stay here and chat with him, although it was noisy. He walked to the table and waved his hand. There was another scripture in his hand. It was natural classics. When it was dark, he went down the hill and went home for dinner. When he went down the hill, Wang Yao took the gifts brought by He Qixing down the hill. Where did you get these things? Seeing the Maotai wine and Yellow Crane Tower cigarettes brought back by Wang Yao, Wang Fenghua knew these things were definitely not cheap just by looking at the packaging. A friend gave them to me. Give them to me? They're not cheap, right? Wang Xiaoying asked. I'm not sure about this. Wang Yao smiled. Mom, I just checked. The 2 bottles of wine and 2 cartons of cigarettes add up to more than 5,000 yuan, Wang Ru said. What? So expensive? Zhang Xiaoying was stunned. Wang Fenghua also frowned. He did not expect these things to be so expensive. It's such an expensive thing. It's a waste to give it to your dad. Why don't you give it to someone else? Who are you going to give it to? Wang Ru asked. The cigarettes and wine are for Dad. I won't give it to anyone else, Wang Yao said. Yes. Hurry up and get ready for dinner, Mom. After a while, dinner was served. The family of 4 was happy and harmonious. Yao, don't come back to Nanshan Hill tonight? Zhang Xiaoying asked. Yes. It's rare for me to come back. I'm still worried. Wang Yao said. He had just planted nearly 100 kinds of herbs, including several licorice roots. He was really worried. After dinner, Wang Yao did not go back to Nanshan Hill immediately. Instead, he chatted with his family for a while. While they were chatting, they heard the door open outside. A person entered the yard. It was Wang Jianli, the party secretary. Uncle, Xiao Ru is also back. Uncle, take a seat. Wang Yao got up to make tea. Wang Fenghua handed him a cigarette. It was the cigarette Wang Yao had just opened. Huh? Wang Jianli was not an ignorant person. He knew the cigarettes were definitely not cheap when he saw the cigarette box. After lighting it, he felt it was indeed different from the cigarettes that cost 10 yuan a pack. Good cigarette. Uncle, what's the matter? Zhang Xiaoying asked with a smile. I'm here to talk to Yao, Wang Jianli said. Let's talk in the room, Wang Yao said. Okay. The two of them went to the room on the side. The village committee has implemented what you said last time. They have also promised not to commit any crimes. Have you found out who it is? Shanfa and Shanyu. Although they sounded like brothers, they were not related at all. One of them was in his 30s, while the other was in his 40s. What they had in common was that they liked to take risks. They didn't farm or go out to work. Instead, they wandered around all day. Their hands and feet were not clean. Especially at the end of the year, they often did things like stealing chickens and dogs. Chapter 63. Just these two people, Wang Yao said. He was worried that there were other people. Yes, just them, Wang Yao said. Okay, sorry to trouble you, Uncle Li, Wang Yao said. Since they have made a promise, you don't have to pursue it, Wang Jianli said. I know, but if they still have such thoughts, don't blame me for being rude, Wang Yao said calmly. After Wang Jianli finished talking with Wang Yao's parents, he got up and left. Yeah, what did your Uncle Li say to you? Why are you being so mysterious? Zhang Xiaoying asked curiously. Nothing. They asked me where the herbs in the herbal field can still grow luxuriantly in winter, and if there is any secret recipe. Someone in the village asked me about it. Wang Yao told the story that he had thought of before. Oh, what did you say? Of course, I couldn't tell the truth, Wang Yao said. Otherwise, if he asked me for the fungus fertilizer, I would have to give it to him or not. I told him that the herbs I planted were different. They were evergreen all year round. What about the trees? Wang Yao asked. I talked to them every day and watered them with Chinese medicine, Wang Yao said calmly. What? He believed it? Wang Yao asked. I don't know if he believed it or not, but in fact, that's what I did. What? Wang Yao asked. When I was free, I would chat with the plants. The trees also said that it could promote the growth of the plants. Yao, did you go crazy from planting herbs on the mountain? Can the plants hear you? Wang Yao asked. In theory, it is effective, Wang Yao said. Wang Yao spent a lot of effort to make this lie work. After staying at home for a while, he went out to Nanshan Hill. Under the night sky, the mountains were silent. Most people would not dare to spend the night alone in the deep mountains out of fear. In fact, Wang Yao was also a little scared when he first spent the night on Nanshan Hill. That was why he raised a dog, mainly for courage. As time went by, he slowly adapted to it. Now, he even enjoyed the tranquility of the mountain. The silence at night was different from the silence during the day. Although the mountain was quiet during the day, there were occasionally people going up the mountain and birds flying by. At night, it was completely quiet. Almost no other sound could be heard except for the mountain wind. There was only one small house, and the lights inside were dim. Wang Yao was lying on the bed with the natural classics in his hand, reading it in a low voice. The next day, the weather was still relatively clear. In the early morning, as soon as Wang Yao came down from the top of the mountain, Wang Ru went up the mountain. Sis, why are you here again? What? Can't I come? Wang Ru was unhappy when she heard that. Yes, aren't you going back to the city? Why should I go back? Today is Saturday. I have a rest. I want to stay at home to accompany my parents. Then you should stay at home to accompany them. Why did you come up the mountain so early in the morning? I have something to ask you. After entering the house, Wang Ru looked up and down at Wang Yao several times. Her eyes made Wang Yao panic. Sis, can you just tell me what you want to say? Tell me the truth. What kind of car did you buy? Wang Ru asked. Hey, that's it. It's a Tiguan. Nonsense. I've taken a Tiguan. It's not like that at all. Yesterday afternoon, Wang Ru went home with the car key. As soon as she got in the car, she found something was wrong. The car was a little luxurious. She had taken a Tiguan more than once because 3 colleagues in her company had bought the same car. The interior of the car was very different from the one Wang Yao bought. Then she got out of the car to take a closer look and found that the car seemed to be bigger. I bought a high-end version, Wang Yao said. Do you think I'm easy to fool? You bought a Tuareg, and it's a high-end one. It costs more than $1 million, right? I checked it online last night. Wang Ru said. After she found something wrong, she really checked it online with her mobile phone. She was shocked. A car costs more than $1 million. Why do you ask me when you know? Where did you get so much money? I earned it from planting herbs, Wang Yao said calmly. Planting herbs? What kind of herbs are so valuable? Wang Ru's eyes were shining like gold coins. It's a secret. You're keeping it a secret. Isn't it ginseng, Ganoderma lucidum, velvet antler, mink fur, and so on? Velvet antler? Mink fur? Sis, you're so imaginative. Wang Yao smiled and said, I don't have these two things. Okay. Anyway, I'm short of money, so I'll ask you for it, Wang Ru said happily. I think you should ask my future brother-in-law for it, Wang Yao said with a smile. Of course, he was just joking. If his sister really needed it, he would not hesitate to help, whether it was money, herbs, or anything else. Wang Ru stayed on the mountain for more than an hour before she left. At noon, the family stewed mutton and asked him to go down a mountain for lunch. During lunch, Wang Yao's mobile phone rang. He took it out and saw it was a call from Yangming. Hello, Yangming. Wang Yao, don't forget about the class reunion tonight. Come early in the afternoon. Okay, I'll hang up now. Class reunion? Zhang Xiaoying's ears were sharp. I don't plan to go, Wang Yao said. Of course, why not? Zhang Xiaoying said. Why should I go? Wang Yao was stunned. He did not expect his mother to be so enthusiastic about this matter. You have to keep in touch with your classmates. Maybe you can use them in the future. The main thing is, if there are suitable female classmates, you can bring a wife back for me on the way, Zhang Xiaoying said with a smile. The last sentence revealed her true thoughts. I really don't want to go. You have to go. Send your sister back on the way. Xiaoru, keep an eye on him, Zhang Xiaoying said in a low voice. Yes, I promise to complete the task, Wang Ru said immediately. What about Nanshan Hill? I'll go back and keep an eye on it for you. You can go, Wang Fenghua said. Since his parents had said so, he had no choice but to go. Go earlier in the afternoon. Wear something decent, Zhang Xiaoying said. After lunch, Wang Yao went back to Nanshan Hill. As usual, he recited scriptures in his room. In the afternoon, before 4 p.m., his father, Wang Fenghua, went up Nanshan Hill. Dad, so early? You should go earlier. Talk to your classmate. Wang Fenghua was still so short and straightforward. It's a bit cold on the hill. I'll come back as soon as possible. No, it's okay if you don't come back. Wang Yao was stunned. What are you off for? Hurry up and go. Change it to something decent. Okay, just like that. Wang Yao was driven down the hill. When he returned home, his mother had already found clothes for him. He was wearing a well-ironed suit. Mom, I'm going to attend a class reunion. I'm not applying for a job or going on a blind date. If I dress like this, I'll be laughed at. Chapter 64. What do you want to wear? Zhang Xiaoying asked. Just like this, Wang Yao said. You look like a worker. How can you wear that? By the way, what about the new clothes you bought last time? Wear that one. In the end, Wang Yao couldn't stand his mother's nagging. He had to wear the new clothes he bought last time and drove away from the village. Yao, is there anyone in your class that you like? In the car, Wang Ru had begun to plan for Wang Yao's marriage. No. Wang Yao directly blocked his mother's next question. Impossible. I remember there were a few pretty girls in your class. Wang Ru said. They are all married. Really? Wang Ru said. Fresh flowers always attract attention, just like your sister. Sister, can you not be so narcissistic? Hurry up and find someone to marry. Don't talk nonsense. Just focus on driving. At about 4:30 p.m., Wang Yao drove to the county town. Hey, where are you going to eat? A place called Shenghua Hotel. Wow, that's the best hotel in Lianshan County. Good, there are rich people in your class. Wang Ru said. I don't know. I rarely communicate with them, Wang Yao said. Well, take this rare opportunity to communicate with your classmates tonight, especially the girls, Wang Ru said. Here we are. Wang Yao stopped outside the apartment rented by Wang Ru. He looked up at the apartment she rented. It looked a bit old, but it was close to her workplace. Sister, Why don't you buy an apartment? Buy an apartment? Why? Wang Ru looked back at the place where she rented the apartment. Now the house price in this area has reached 5,000 yuan. It will cost more than 500,000 yuan to buy a house. My monthly salary is less than 3,000 yuan. I don't need to buy a house. I rent a good house, Wang Ru said. Sister, you choose an apartment, and I'll pay for it. Wang Yao said that he still had more than 2 million yuan in his card. Buying a house was not a problem. Anyway, he had nothing to do. That's for your future brother-in-law to consider. You'd better go to your class reunion. I'll go upstairs first. Wang Ru said and went upstairs. Wang Yao turned the car around and found the eye-catching building in Lianshan County. It was a 12-story building. Shenghua Hotel, the most luxurious hotel in Lianshan County. After finding a place to park the car, Wang Yao entered the hotel and found a private room that Yang Ming mentioned. This was a large private room. A few round tables were enough for 50 to 60 people to eat here at the same time. When he entered the private room, some people had already arrived. Yo, isn't this Wang Yao? As soon as he came in, people immediately came over to greet him. He also smiled and responded to them one by one. I thought you weren't coming. I was about to call you again. Yang Ming came up with a smile. He was wearing a casual suit. He looked handsome and confident. On the contrary, Wang Yao was wearing a down jacket and jeans, but he had a different aura. Come to our table. Anywhere is fine. At this time, another classmate entered the private room. Yang Ming went to greet him again. Wang Yao chose a seat by the window and sat down. He also talked to the classmate next to him. He remembered the names of these classmates. He hadn't seen them for a few years. Everyone had changed a lot. Some of them had families, got married, and some had children. Time was really sharp. Here, a cigarette. A 1.8-meter-tall man next to him handed him a cigarette with a smile. He remembered the name of this classmate. His name was Li Shugang. Because he was very tall, he sat in the last row in class. He didn't talk much. At first, his grades were not very good. However, in the second semester of his senior year, he suddenly worked hard. After the final college entrance examination, he was admitted to a key university, although it was located in the northwest and was relatively remote. I don't smoke, thank you. Wang Yao smiled. What have you been doing since graduation? Li Shugang lit a cigarette and asked. At home, growing herbs. What about you? I'm in a biopharmaceutical company in the northwest. I resigned last month. Are you going to find a job at home? Yes. Brother, hi. At this time, there was a passionate shout. Wang Yao looked up and saw Yang Ming hugging a rather strong young man. It's he hi, Li Shugang said. He was the top student in the school. Not only did he have excellent grades, but he was also quite lively. He was very popular. His grades in the college entrance examination were excellent, and he was admitted to one of the top military schools in the country. Naturally, he had a bright future. After graduation, he went to the grassroots army. After 3 years of training, he is now a company commander, Li Shugang said. He has a bright future. Yes. Hey, why did he come back at this time? Wang Yao was curious. Logically speaking, the army had strict control of personnel going out. Only soldiers who met the requirements could enjoy family leave. I don't know. Yang Ming enthusiastically pulled He Hai to a table. He Hai saw Wang Yao and the others and greeted them with a smile. After 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the 2 tables were almost full. There were more than 20 people in total. When they were in college, most of them said that they would stay at the place where they went to college during the holidays. No one said that they would come back to Lianshan, a small county. However, after graduation, a considerable number of people came back. After all, although the big cities were good, the cost of living was also high. Moreover, there was no shortage of talents. It was not easy for a fresh graduate to settle down in a foreign place without any ability or connections. Moreover, the houses in those big cities were so expensive. Even if they worked hard there for 10 or 20 years, they might not be able to earn a house of their own. Sometimes, most people's ambitions were as high as the sky, but their lives were as thin as paper. Just as the students were talking to each other, with a creak, the door of the private room opened. A beautiful woman walked in from outside. Her long windbreaker set off her graceful figure. Her eyebrows were picturesque, and her black hair was draped over her shoulders. The room lit up because of her arrival. Tong Wei, Yang Ming stood up with a smile. I haven't seen her for a few years. She is getting more and more beautiful. Li Shugang whispered. Yes. Wang Yao picked up a teacup on the table and drank some water. The tea was not good enough. Yang Ming seems to be chasing her. I think so, Wang Yao said. A woman like her would make any man's heart flutter. Chapter 65. In the end, Tong Wei sat at Yang Ming's table with a female classmate. It was about 5:30 p.m. Yang Ming looked around and found all the invited classmates had arrived. As one of the organizers of the party, he stood up and said something enthusiastically. In the past, it was usually their class monitor who said something like that. He was said to be busy doing business in Jiangsu and Zhejiang. Although his studies weren't that good when he was in school, he had a glib tongue. After experiencing the experience of the system in the past few years, this advantage had been greatly improved. When he spoke, he had a set of words and had the demeanor of a leader. I didn't expect this guy to be so good at talking, said Li Shugang. Yeah, Wang Yao sighed. In fact, deep down in his heart, he somewhat looked down on these second-generation princes who relied on their fathers to start their careers. However, he had to admit that these people were indeed different from the rest. This was their advantage. After greeting the waiter, the dishes were quickly served. They looked good. After all, it was a big hotel, so the dishes were different. Then, Yang Ming brought the first glass of wine. It was good wine. Most people drank it up, but Wang Yao did not drink it. He drank water. Then, they began to eat and talk with each other. After drinking a glass of wine, the atmosphere became lively. Why don't you drink? Asked Li Shugang, who was next to Wang Yao. I drove here. I don't want to drink, said Yang Ming with a smile. He had a painful memory about wine. He knew how uncomfortable it was to be drunk. Although his physical fitness had been more than twice that of ordinary people with the help of ancient spring water and the practice method in natural classics, he still did not want to drink. How can you not drink when meeting a classmate? Said Wu Mao-san, another classmate next to him. I really don't want to drink. After drinking, my stomach will feel uncomfortable, said Wang Yao with a smile. Oh, forget it, said Ihai. After Yang Ming, Ihai also brought a glass of wine. After 2 glasses of wine, they were more open when they talked. The content of the conversation between them also increased. How are you doing in the company? Asked Ihai. It's still the same. The company's profit is good, but the salary is not good, said Ihai. Yonggang, I heard that you're doing well recently, said Ihai. Of course not, said Ihai. He's already a manager. Yang Ming was also talking with Ihai. Brother Hai, when will you improve? It's impossible within the next 2 years. I have to build a foundation at the grassroots level first. All right, Baojun will be back in 2 days. Is that so? I heard that he entered Heron Island's tax system. Yes, I got in through the exam. This was how class gatherings were. Ask your classmates what they were doing and tell them what you were doing. Leave your contact information so that it would be convenient for you to contact each other. If you could cooperate with each other, you should talk more and drink more. Wang Yao also communicated with the classmates beside him. About 20 minutes later, everyone began to leave their seats and talk freely. What have you been busy with recently? Ihai came to Wang Yao's side, patted his shoulder, and asked. At home, farming, Wang Yao said with a smile. Farming? I don't think so, Ihai said with a smile. It's true. I booked the entire mountain. Is that so? You're going to become a local tycoon, Ihai said with a smile. Can I have your number? I haven't received your call yet. Sure. The two of them exchanged their contact information. How about a drink? Ihai poured a glass of wine. I really can't. Wang Yao pointed at his stomach. Another day. I'll come back at the end of the year. I'll treat you then, Ihai said with a smile. Okay, I'll contact you then. Students in the same class could roughly tell whether they were doing well 3 years after graduation. Some of them entered the system and had an iron rice bowl, such as Yang Ming. Some of them had official positions, such as Ihai. However, most of them entered enterprises. To put it nicely, they were working hard for their dreams. In fact, they were doing it for houses, cars, and money. Now that the market was not good and the economy was declining, enterprises could face risks at any time or even close down. At the table next to them, Yang Ming raised his glass with a smile on his face. He was talking and laughing with his classmates. He was very proud of himself. Tong Wei, is the food not to your taste? He came to Tong Wei with a glass of wine and asked with a smile. Because of the high temperature in the private room, the beauty's face was slightly red, like a floating red cloud. She looked even more beautiful. A beauty like this should be married to my family. I'll have a soft and fragrant body every day. Yang Ming looked at Tong Wei from a close distance. Once this thought came to his mind, it was like a fire in the wilderness. It cannot be suppressed. No, it's quite good. Tong Wei smiled slightly. Then eat more. Come, let me toast you. I wish you eternal youth and all your wishes come true. Also, find a good husband. A female classmate next to them smiled and said, Yes. The other classmates smiled and agreed. I don't know what our beauty Tong's ideal partner is. Do you think I'm good enough? Yang Ming said with a smile. Oh, the people next to them started to make a fuss. Wang Yao raised his head and looked at Yang Ming. He then looked at Tong Wei, who was beside him. One was handsome, and the other was beautiful. They were indeed a good match, but Tong Wei smiled. She did not agree or reject. She just said some polite words to save Yang Ming's face. At the same time, she took a sip of juice. Good. Someone started to make a fuss. After sitting in the private room for a while, the smell of smoke, alcohol, and food mixed together. Wang Yao pinched his nose and got up to go out for a breath of fresh air. The air in the corridor was slightly better. Wang Yao, after standing for a few minutes, he heard someone calling his name. He turned around and saw a familiar face. It's really you. The person who called him was actually Tian Yuan too. Why are you here? Class reunion. What about you? Wang Yao pointed at the private room. I'm having dinner with a friend. Tian Yuan saw Wang Yao was here, so he chatted with him for a while. Just as they were chatting, a middle-aged man walked out of the private room, not far away. He was not tall and thin. He was wearing a suit. I was wondering why you disappeared the moment you came out, the man said with a smile as he approached. Oh, I met a friend and chatted for a while. Tian Yuan smiled and said to the man, You guys could drink first. How can we do it without you? This is... Oh, I forgot to introduce you. This is Wang Yao, my good friend. He's my little brother. Tian Yuan pointed at Wang Yao and said, This is the local official of Lianshan County, Deputy County Magistrate Dai. County Magistrate. Wang Yao was stunned. He did not expect this ordinary-looking middle-aged man to be one of the few people with real power in Lianshan County. Chapter 66. Ah, there's a deputy in front of it. Oh, haha. Tian Yuan laughed. Didn't you say you brought good wine? Dai asked. Please wait for a moment. I'll be right there. Tian Yuan said. One was an expert in politics and business, while the other was an enigmatic young man. Both of them were worthy of being friends. He knew which one was more important. Brother Tian, you go ahead. I just came out for some fresh air, Wang Yao hurriedly said. Okay, have you drunk? I'll arrange someone to send you back later. Tian Yuan too was about to leave, but he stopped and asked. No, I can drive myself. Okay, I'll go first. Tian Yuan too and Dai left together. Dai nodded to Wang Yao before leaving. What does your little brother do? Dai asked with a smile. Under your rule, we'll farm. Oh, that's impossible. Dai laughed. As a person at his level, he had experienced many occasions and met many people. He had seen many businessmen like Tian Yuan too. He knew the character of these businessmen too well. They would never do anything without benefits. They had sharp eyes and amazing means. His attitude towards the young man just now was to make friends with him. He didn't accompany the guests at the table to talk to the young man. Such an attitude was really amazing. In the whole Yanshan County, there were only a few people who deserved Tian Yuan-tu's kindness. Let's go and try the old wine I brought. Tian Yuan smiled and changed the topic. Hey, Wang Yao, why did you come out? The door of the private room opened. Yang Ming came out with a red face. He patted Wang Yao's shoulder and said, I came out for some fresh air. Everyone is drinking. You can't. I have to drink with you later. My stomach doesn't feel well. I won't drink, Wang Yao said with a smile. Hey, don't drink too much. It's fine. Back in the private room, Wang Yao had just sat down when Yang Ming walked over with a glass of wine. Come, my old classmates, let me toast you all. He first toasted the students at the table, then chatted with a few of them. After that, he came to Wang Yao's side. Wang Yao, shall we have a drink? I really can't drink this. How about I replace wine with water? How can that be? You didn't even drink our beauties just now. How can you drink water? Yang Ming said. I haven't drunk it. I really can't drink it, Wang Yao said with a smile. In fact, ever since the traffic regulations became stricter, the number of drunk drivers had decreased significantly. Moreover, at the drinking table, once they heard that someone was driving, they would not urge them to drink. What? Are you looking down on me? Yang Ming seemed to be a little unhappy. Wang Yao was the first to refuse his toast. In his opinion, Wang Yao didn't give him face. For a moment, the atmosphere was a little awkward. Creak. At this time, the door opened. A waiter came in with a plate in his hand. There were 2 boxes of wine with extraordinary packaging. Sorry to disturb you. These are 2 bottles of wine sent by a Mr. Tian in the private room next door. May I ask which one of you is Mr. Wang Yao? I am. After a moment of silence, Wang Yao raised his hand. This is the wine sent by Mr. Tian for you and your classmates to taste. I wish your friendship will last forever. Where'd you like to put it? Put on the table. Sorry to trouble you, Wang Yao said with a smile. You're welcome. The waiter left quickly. Oh, no wonder you haven't drunk it. You are waiting for this wine. Do you think the wine I prepared is not good? Yang Ming was unhappy. He prepared the wine for today's class reunion. The wine was one of the famous wines in the province. The price was not cheap. Just now, everyone drank it and said that the wine was very good. Then let's taste the wine brought by Wang Yao. Yang Ming shouted with a smile. Wang Yao shook his head helplessly. He had guessed that the wine should be sent by Tian Yuan too. His original intention was good, but he didn't want to cause trouble and arouse Yang Ming's disgust. Huh. Yang Ming walked to the front and looked at the box. He was slightly stunned. In the past few years after graduation and working, he had attended a lot of dinners because of his work. Sometimes he treated others, and sometimes he was treated by others. At dinners, he had eaten a lot of food, smoked a lot of cigarettes, and drank a lot of wine. He still had a considerable ability to distinguish between good and bad wine. For example, the 2 bottles of wine in front of him were quite good. Although it was not as famous as Mao Dai and Wuliangye, Fen wine was also a famous wine in China. Among them, the most famous one was the one in front of him. Fen wine was blue and white porcelain. It was aged for 20 or 30 years. Yang Ming couldn't remember the price of this wine. It was at least a few hundred yuan per bottle. Well, why didn't you take out such good wine earlier? Yang Ming opened a bottle. Now, almost the whole room's eyes fell on the 2 of them. I didn't buy it. I don't drink. Wang Yao smiled. Now he began to regret coming to this class reunion. If you don't drink, we will drink for you. He high on the side smiled and came to help him out. He poured a glass of wine. Since Wang Yao doesn't drink, then forget it. I will drink with you. This awkward situation was resolved just like that. What wine? Let's taste it. Among the people sitting there, there was no lack of people who liked wine. The 2 bottles of wine were really good. They were quickly divided up. Good wine. Someone praised after drinking it. A famous wine is a famous wine. Maybe the wine was really good, or maybe some people drank a little too much and their voices were a little loud. After Yang Ming heard this voice, his hand that was holding the wine glass trembled. He was angry and couldn't control it. Today's matter was quite good. Everything went according to his plan. Even just now, he half-jokingly asked Tong Wei to be his boyfriend. She didn't reject him. He was still clear about a girl's modesty. Especially a beautiful girl like her, she should be more reserved. However, when it came to Wang Yao, he didn't play by the rules at all. He didn't accept a toast. Moreover, he didn't know where he got these 2 bottles of good wine. What is this? Is this a slap in the face? You are a farmer in the countryside. Why are you showing off here? The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. He drank another glass of wine. This is good wine. Wang Yao, do you have any more? Yang Ming suddenly turned and shouted at Wang Yao. Everyone hasn't drunk enough, right? That's right. Someone immediately agreed. No, a friend gave it to me, Wang Yao said with a smile. His voice was not loud, but it was very clear. Really? Don't tell me you don't want to give it to me? Really? Wang Yao said. Forget it if you don't have any. There is no shortage of wine here, He Hai said with a smile. Yang Ming didn't say anything. He originally wanted to use this as an excuse to provoke Wang Yao. He didn't expect that Wang Yao didn't take the bait at all. Chapter 67. After a while, everyone was full and started to discuss where to go to play later. A class reunion was to eat, drink, and have fun. I have a suggestion. How about we go to the KTV next door to sing? Yang Ming suddenly said loudly. There was another KTV next to Shanghua Hotel. It was also owned by the Shanghua Hotel. It was opened a few years ago. The decoration was good, and the business was good. Sure, are you treating? Someone among the students immediately responded. No problem, Yang Ming said with a smile after listening. Are you going? Li Shu Gang, who was next to Wang Yao, asked. No, I'm not going. Wang Yao looked at his phone. It was already 8 o'clock. If he went to the KTV, it would be at least 10 o'clock. It would be midnight when he got home. He couldn't let his father spend the night on the hill. After a while, the food was served. After dinner, everyone left the private room. They were ready to sing at the KTV next door. Yang Ming went to the counter to pay the bill. In the hotel lobby, Wang Yao heard someone calling his name. He turned around and saw that it was Tian Yuan too. Brother Tan, you drank. Should I ask someone to send you back? Tian Yuan too asked with a smile. No, I didn't drink. I could drive back myself. Okay, I'll go now. Call me if you need anything. Okay. Tian Yuan patted his shoulder and turned to leave. Wang Yao left the hotel and was far behind his classmates. At this time, a person in front of him stopped. Seeing that he didn't want to follow, he turned around and walked towards him. Why don't you go with me? It was He Hai. I'm not going. I have to go home. You tell Yang Ming. Okay, let's meet another day, He Hai said. How are you going back? I'll drive. Be careful. After saying goodbye to He Hai, Wang Yao went to the parking lot alone. He started the car. As soon as he drove out of the parking lot, he saw a person standing by the roadside. She was wearing a long coat with long hair. She seemed to be anxious. Wang Yao drove the car to the roadside. He rolled down the window and shouted at the person. Tong Wei. Wang Yao. Tong Wei was surprised to see the person in the car when she heard Wang Yao's name. Where are you going? I'll send you. Okay, let's go to the hospital. Tong Wei opened the car door and got into the car. Wang Yao drove straight to the hospital. Is someone sick in your family? Wang Yao asked when he saw Tong Wei's anxious expression. I just received a call. My mother suddenly felt dizzy and was admitted to the hospital. Don't worry too much. Not long after Wang Yao's car left, an Audi A4 drove over. Hey, where is he? Yang Ming, who smelled of alcohol, got out of the car and looked at the side of the car. When he realized that Tong Wei wasn't around, he took out his phone and called her. Sitting in the car, Tong Wei picked up her phone and took a look. Hey, Yang Ming. Tong Wei, where are you? I'll take you to the hospital. It's okay. I'm already on my way to the hospital. You can accompany your classmates. Thank you, Tong Wei said. Her voice was very pleasant. Wait a moment. I'll be there right away. Yang Ming hung up the phone and drove to the hospital. The classmates behind him were directly thrown aside. Compared to the beauty, those classmates were nothing. Sigh, who cares about them? On the other hand, Wang Yao and Tong Wei had arrived at the hospital. Tong Wei's mother had been examined. It was confirmed that she had a cerebral thrombosis, but it wasn't very serious. She was sent to the corresponding department for treatment. I'll go and see my mother first. I'll thank you alone another day, Tong Wei said to Wang Yao. It's okay. I'll go with you. You might need help. It's okay. Let's go. It's not a problem. The two of them took the elevator directly to the Divine University Internal Medicine Department on the 15th floor. Tong Wei's brother and father were there. Her mother had been arranged to be in the ward. How is my mother? Tong Wei asked anxiously. It's an old illness. She felt dizzy at home, so I asked your brother to drive her here. Fortunately, we came in time. She's already on the drip. If we were any later, it would be troublesome, Tong Wei's father said. This is, Tong Wei's brother pointed at Wang Yao, who was beside him. My classmate. He sent me here, Tong Wei said. This is my brother, and this is my father. Uncle, brother. Wang Yao smiled and greeted them. Hello, Tong Wei's father responded. He carefully looked at Wang Yao again. After waiting for a while, Wang Yao saw that there was nothing he could do to help, so he said to Tong Wei, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Okay, I'll walk you out. It's okay. Tong Wei walked Wang Yao to the elevator. After watching him leave in the elevator, she went back to the ward. Then, she received a call from Yang Ming. She frowned slightly. She didn't want to answer this call. More than 10 minutes later, Yang Ming also hurried upstairs and came to the ward. He was carrying something in his hand, but he smelled of cigarettes and alcohol. Tong Wei, how's Annie? Yang Ming asked. She's on the drip. She's fine. I told you not to come, Tong Wei said. How can I not come when Auntie is sick? He stayed in the ward for a while. He talked to Tong Wei's father and brother for a while. Then, he made a phone call to an acquaintance in the hospital. I found a friend. He said he'll come over tomorrow. I don't know if he can help. Yang Ming smiled and said to Tong Wei, thank you. After a while, Yang Ming's phone rang. He saw that it was a call from one of the classmates. You have something to do. Go do it first, Tong Wei said. Okay, I'll go first. Goodbye, uncle, brother. Yang Ming wanted to hang up the phone, but he hesitated. After all, he was the one who organized this gathering. He had to finish it well. Moreover, Tong Wei's mother's illness was not serious. He couldn't help much by staying here. There were a few classmates he had to talk to. Maybe they could help him in the future. Tong Wei walked him to the elevator. Yang Ming talked to her for a while before leaving. Xiao Wei, are these two people chasing after you? Tong Wei's mother, who was still on the drip, asked with a smile. No, Mom. Tong Wei blushed slightly. Yang Ming was chasing after her, but Wang Yao didn't reveal that intention. They were classmates after all. Then you have to choose carefully. Marriage is a matter of a girl's life. Mom, take care of yourself first. Dad, brother, I'll be here tonight. You two go back and rest. When Wang Yao drove back to the village, it was already 9:30 p.m. He parked his car and hurried up the hill. The lights in the house were still on. When he reached the foot of the hill, the dog ran over and wagged its tail at him. When he reached the hill, he found that Wang Fenghua was still awake. He was reading a Taoist scripture. Chapter 68. Dad, I'm back. Can you go down the hill and sleep? Wang Yao entered the house and asked softly, what book is this? What is it about? Wang Fenghua pointed at the Huangting Jing in his hand. This is a Taoist scripture. It can be used to cultivate one's body and mind. Okay. Wang Fenghua turned around and left the house. It's cold on the hill. Cover yourself with more things, Wang Yao said before he left. Okay. San Xian, take Grandpa down the hill and come back home. Wang Yao shouted at San Xian and pointed at his father. No need. San Xian ran out of the kennel and followed behind Wang Yao as if he had heard Wang Fenghua's words. About 40 minutes later, San Xian ran back. Wang Yao called home. After confirming that his father was home, he went into the house to rest. The next morning, he watered the licorice roots with some concentrated ancient spring water and went up the hill. When the sun was about to rise, he began to cultivate as usual. Sitting on the rock, the wind was very cold. Wang Yao's body moved up and down rhythmically. The neishi in his body flowed like water in his meridians. The sun suddenly rose in the sky. At the same time, Wang Yao felt the neishi in his body rush and return to his lower abdomen after a few rounds. It was like reading in the morning every day. After finishing his cultivation, Wang Yao went down the hill and watered the common herbs with the diluted ancient spring water. After all, there were already a lot of herbs. Although there was more ancient spring water, it was still not enough. Wang Yao had to dilute it a little more. At about 10 a.m., Wang Yao's mother, Zhang Xiaoying, came up the hill. Mom, why are you here? Tell me, how was the class reunion yesterday? Did you like any girl? Did you leave your contact information? Zhang Xiaoying asked with a smile. Mom, the class reunion is just for chatting. Not many of our classmates went. Those who went all have children, Wang Yao said. Ah, so fast. You see, I let you lie on a mountain all day long. Isn't it too late? Zhang Xiaoying was a little annoyed. No, Mom, you do it. I'll make tea for you. Wang Yao quickly made a pot of black tea and poured a cup for her. Don't do these useless things. Hurry up and find a way to bring me a girlfriend, Zhang Xiaoying said. I'll do my best. Try your best. How can you do your best if you stay on the mountain all day? Zhang Xiaoying said angrily. Hey, Mom, I have something to discuss with you. What is it? When I came to the city, I saw that the place my sister rented was not very good. Not to mention the old building. The people living there are quite messy. Why don't we buy a house? Wang Yao said. The place she rented is indeed not good. Your dad and I have been there, but the houses in the city are expensive now. I heard from your sister that it costs 5,000 yuan per square meter. We don't have that much money. If we buy a house for her, what will you do? Zhang Xiaoying said. In the village, there was still a preference for boys over girls. How about this, Mom? I'll buy a house for my sister to live in first. What do you think? Wang Yao suggested. You'll pay? How much money do you have? Zhang Xiaoying was stunned. That's none of your business. Do you agree or not? I have to go back and discuss this with your dad. Then hurry back and discuss it with my dad. Don't tell my sister first. I'm afraid she won't agree. Okay. Zhang Xiaoying drank a cup of tea and walked out of the house. She stopped after a few steps. Hey, I'm going to talk to you about that thing. You have to hurry up. I know, Mom. When it was close to noon, Wang Yao was reading in his room. Suddenly, he heard a fluttering sound. Then Sanxian also started to bark outside. What's going on? Wang Yao walked out of the cottage and looked in the direction of the sound. He was stunned. He saw an eagle with messy feathers. It had a pair of wings. One of its wings was stained with blood. Obviously, it was injured. Sanxian was 2 meters away from it. The eagle stared at the dog in front of it with sharp eyes. Sanxian, move away, Wang Yao shouted. The dog stepped back obediently, but it still stared at the injured eagle. In its eyes, the eagle was a dangerous animal. It's injured. It needs to be bandaged. Wang Yao stepped forward. The eagle immediately opened its wings and prepared to attack. Forget it. Wang Yao had to give up. He went back into the house. Sanxian lay on the ground and looked at it from a distance. The injured eagle stood on the ground and looked around vigilantly. It wanted to fly, but it couldn't. Wang Yao went out twice to check on the eagle. It was still vigilant, but there was nothing he could do. At noon, he went down the hill. Before he went down the hill, he told Sanxian not to do anything stupid. After he went down the hill, he went home to eat something and asked for some meat. Then he went to the clinic to buy some medicine for external injuries. Unexpectedly, he heard the prompt from the system. Please make the medicine yourself. Well, he couldn't buy some medicine in the future. He had no choice but to buy some bandages and went up the hill. He put the minced meat in a small bowl and put it in front of the injured eagle. Then he put some water in the bowl. The injured eagle was very vigilant. It didn't eat the water at all. Woof, woof, woof. Sanxian barked a few times. Eat it. Even I don't get such treatment. In the afternoon, Wang Yao prepared the medicine for external injuries according to the prescriptions he had found. This medicine was different from the ones he had made before. It didn't need to be boiled. It didn't need to be ground into powder. Luckily, he had some herbs, and there were some herbs in the herbal field outside that could be used. After a while, he got all the herbs. He didn't rush to finish the last step. With his current condition, it was better to make the medicine on the spot. The eagle outside was still vigilant. Wang Yao chanted in a low voice in the house. Outside the house, Sanxian lay on the ground and stared at the eagle. The eagle flapped its wings from time to time, but it was getting weaker and weaker. It was getting dark. The temperature outside was getting lower and the wind was getting stronger. After dinner, Wang Yao came back for the foot of the mountain. He looked at the eagle and saw that it was slightly trembling in the mountain wind. However, it still didn't let down its guard. Moreover, the meat in the basin in front of it didn't seem to be reduced at all. What an arrogant animal, Wang Yao praised. It was getting late. Wang Yao read for a while, then he got up and looked outside. The eagle was still there, leaning against the tree. It was injured and didn't eat anything. It didn't have much strength, but it was still stubborn. The night passed. The next morning, Wang Yao got up early. The first thing he did was to check on the eagle. It was still there, but it seemed that it couldn't hold on any longer. Its eyes were not as sharp as they were yesterday. Eat some. Wang Yao pointed at the meat in front of the eagle. He didn't care if the eagle understood him or not. Then he started a busy day of cultivation. Chapter 69. The injured eagle looked at Wang Yao after they came down from the hill. Its eyes were not as fierce as before. In the evening, Wang Yao noticed that there was less meat in the pot. "Just eat," he said with a smile. This was a good sign. Another night passed. When Wang Yao got up in the morning, he found that there was not much meat left in the basin. "Oh, I guess the eagle doesn't like pork. I'll change it for you." In the morning, Wang Yao went down the hill and got some rabbit meat. He added it to the eagle's pot. This time, the eagle was less alert. "I need to check your wound." Wang Yao pointed at the eagle's injured wing. In the afternoon, Wang Yao concocted some medicine and went to Ying's side. The eagle was not cooperative. It flapped its wings and pecked Wang Yao with its beak. Its sharp claws tore holes in Wang Yao's clothes. Sanxian jumped up and down and barked anxiously. It took Wang Yao a lot of effort to bandage the eagle's wound. The cost was that the eagle's clothes were ruined. What a raptor! Wang Yao looked at his clothes. He was well prepared and lucky. The eagle's sharp claws were enough to pierce his clothes and hurt his body. "Okay, have a good rest. I'll change the medicine for you in a few days," Wang Yao said to the eagle with a smile. He went into the house and changed his clothes. That afternoon, when they went home for dinner, Wang Yao mentioned to his parents about buying a house in the city. He asked them about their decision. "Yao, tell me the truth. How much money do you have now?" Zhang Xiuying asked. "About 1 million RMB. Wang Yao deducted half of the money in his card. He was afraid that he would scare his parents. What? Where did you get so much money?" Even so, his parents were still shocked. "I sold a portion of the herbs and concocted some potions. After earning some money, I didn't deposit it in the bank. Instead, I bought some stocks and earned some more," Wang Yao said calmly. "He earned more than 1 million just like that. Something like that. How long has it been?" Zhang Xiuying said. "You spent 400,000 yuan on the mountain and a lot on the car. Now you still have more than 1 million yuan?" The old couple would be lying if they said they weren't shocked. There were hundreds of people in the village. Who had the ability to earn nearly 2 million in less than half a year? "Yao, tell Mom the truth. Did you do something illegal?" Zhang Xiuying asked worriedly. "Mom, what are you thinking? How could I do that? Besides, what can I do if I stay on the mountain all day?" "That's true." Zhang Xiuying thought for a while and said, "But your money comes too fast. This is also a coincidence. Making money in the stock market comes and goes quickly. Then you have to take it easy. Look, I'm planning to take out the money to buy a house." "Then buy it." Wang Fenghua finally made the decision. "Okay, I'll go to town to have a look some other day," Wang Yao said. After dinner, Wang Yao went back to Nanshan Hill. He first called Wang Mingbao and asked him to help. After all, he was in the decoration business and was familiar with this aspect. He asked him to see which houses in Lianshan County were good in Lianshan County. At night, just as Wang Yao was about to turn off the light and go to bed, suddenly there was a hurried dog barking outside. Someone was making trouble again. Wang Yao hurriedly put on his clothes and went out. However, when he opened the door, he didn't see anyone. However, Sanxian rushed out and ran back after a while. "What's wrong, Sanxian?" Sanxian ran into the herbal field. Wang Yao followed it and found that a few herbs in the periphery had been gnawed. This was an animal stealing the herbs. "It's an animal. That's better." Wang Yao was a little relieved. "Good job, Sanxian." Wang Yao patted Sanxian and then went into the cottage to rest. The next day, he found the footprints of the animal that came to the herbal field to steal the herbs last night. It looked like a wild rabbit. Rabbit? It won't come again, right? This kind of animal was famous for being timid. It was scared by Sanxian last night, so it probably wouldn't come again. In the morning, Wang Yao added some rabbit meat for the eagle. He then told his mother to help him look after the herbal field and drove to Lianshan County. After the process, he found Wang Mingbao. Wang Mingbao had already selected a few houses for him. The two of them went to look at the existing houses together. Wang Mingbao chose 3 residential areas that were relatively good. There were a few apartments in total. The location was good, and it was close to the school and shopping area. The corresponding price was also relatively high. After looking around, Wang Yao took a fancy to a multi-story apartment. It was about 130 square meters and had a parking garage. The corresponding price was relatively high. It was nearly 800,000 yuan. In cities like Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, this kind of price was not even enough to buy a pigeon house. After choosing the apartment, he went directly to the relevant procedures with Wang Mingbao. The sales office heard that he was buying the house in full, so they gave him a discount of 3%. He went to the bank to pay the money and took the key. The real estate developer in charge of the development of the residential area was in charge of helping to apply for the real estate certificate. It was said that it could be done in about a week. After buying the house, the next step was to decorate it. Wang Mingbao happened to be in this field. Naturally, Wang Mingbao would leave it to him. So, I'll leave the decoration of the house to you. No problem. I'll find a good design company to design it, Wang Mingbao promised with a smile. It was not troublesome for him. Thank you. Don't mention it. In the end, Wang Yao gave Wang Mingbao all the house keys. It was almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Wang Yao found a good restaurant and treated him to a meal. They did not drink. After coming out of the restaurant, he received a phone call as soon as he got into the car. Hello, are you busy? It was a woman's voice on the other end of the phone. It was very soft and smooth. I'm in Lianshan. I'm about to go home. What's up? I haven't thanked you properly for last time. Let's have dinner together tonight. It was Tong Wei on the other end of the phone. You don't have to. It's not a big deal, Wang Yao said with a smile. Are you so busy? Is it so difficult for me to treat you to dinner? The voice on the phone was slightly coquettish. Normal people would not be able to stand a beauty acting coquettishly. Wang Yao looked at the time. I'm really in a hurry to go home tonight. How about another day? I'll treat you. Okay then. Tong Wei hung up the phone. Her cherry lips were slightly stubborn. A beauty was cute when she was angry. Hey, it's a girl, right? Wang Mingbao asked curiously in the car. Yes. Treat you to dinner. Yes. You refused. I don't have time now. I have to go back and take care of the herbal field, Wang Yao explained. Believe it or not, if my aunt knows about this, she will scold you to death. Wang Mingbao said, It's a good thing for a girl to ask you out for dinner. Hey, is she ugly? No, she's beautiful, Wang Yao said. Tong Wei was a rare beauty. She was very beautiful even without makeup. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.